Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final is tonight in Carolina. Vegas does lead that series 1-0. Puck drop is at 8 o'clock, and you can listen to the game tonight right here on WGR with coverage beginning at 7:30. In the NFL, we do have more extensions coming down the line. Packers, they are locking in wide receiver Christian Watson to a 4-year, $110.5 million deal, and that extension does include $31 million as a signing bonus. Cornerback L'Jarius Sneed is visiting with the Chiefs today. He was with them from 2020 until 2023. And Lions rookie wide receiver Kendrick Law was confirmed to have torn his ACL at practice earlier this week. And then over in baseball, Bison's on the road versus Worcester. First pitch tonight at 6:05. You can listen to that game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. We do have some early afternoon baseball in the majors. The Yankees are in action against Cleveland. That game is tied at 1-1 in the 6th. And then coming up at 7:15, the Jays. They are at Atlanta versus the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I gotta wonder what kind of working relationship you'd have with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp.
I've often wondered that. He, they, I don't know what his pronouns are, or their pronouns. Anyway, Satan.
And the Bulldog.
What's the upside of doing well? Well, maybe they're too busy making everyone else's life hell.
Oh, boy.
And
wow.
you might just be able to do your own thing if you're partnered with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They're too busy, making Scott Norwood miss field goals.
Oh, come on.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Just have to figure out where to send this. I've just completed my ballot for next year's Jack Adams Award because I've already decided who did the best coaching job in the league, and I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to send it.
That's completely reasonable.
I feel like John Hines is somebody who has I mean, look, they're in tough.
Yeah.
He's the coach of Minnesota, by the way. They're in tough with Dallas and Colorado in that division. Winnipeg will probably be back. I mean, what more does the guy have to do? He's up against it.
Well, and they did win a round in the playoffs.
Well,
so I mean, you want to
break this year's winners record.
You want to consider that? I mean, that'll help too.
Do you want to kick at this? I mean,
I don't know.
It's kind of
I don't need
too obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I was really. I mean, there was nothing I could do about not being here yesterday.
No, that's not
but
true.
I was really bummed out.
No pun intended.
You asked me, I think on Monday, when is the Jack Adams going to get on? I had no idea. I haven't ever seen a schedule of when because I think they're trying to surprise.
There isn't one.
The winners, right? So they just
No, they're not trying to surprise the winners because that's why John Cooper and Marcus Foligno were in hospitals when they were shown to have learned that they won. So they knew.
Okay.
I mean, somebody knew.
You're sure, right. Well, that's what I mean.
They said Foligno, they said, was surprised to find out. But
every one of those videos to me has been presented, the trophies, the NHL trophies, has been presented as we spread. Obviously, the people who, whoever counted the votes somebody knows to go track these people down at these charitable appearances. But they're being presented on social media as we showed up and told John Cooper he won Coach of the Year. Look how happy he is. So
look at us.
Anyway, but I heard about that, obviously, and you had asked me, and I had no idea, and it turned out to be yesterday, and I wasn't going to be here. All I really have to say is that every time, including earlier this week, when you might have asked on the air, when are they announcing Coach of the Year?
When do we get our money? Is probably how I put it.
Right. I don't know. And you said very matter-of-factly, like you have probably dozens of times, he's going to win, right? And I'd be like, I think so, but the whole conversation, every time I saw a conversation about that award, and, surely, I tweeted a lot of this, surely there's people that watch way more of the intermissions and pregame stuff on the national telecast, both in Canada and the U.S., than I do.
Well, that's good.
But I watch a fair amount of it. I saw a half a dozen or more conversations about awards. And whenever Coach of the Year would come up, doesn't matter if it's TSN or Sportsnet or TNT or ESPN, if there's three people there, one person says something about John Cooper, and the other two nod and go, that sounds right. And that was the conversation. Never one time did I see, this doesn't mean it didn't happen again because I'm not watching and monitoring everything, but I have a feeling we would have seen it if someone, remember when Kevin Bieksa went hard on Darlene as Norris, right? That got to us. It wasn't hard to find. If someone ever sat sitting at one of those desks discussing the coach of the year, ever raised their hand and went, guys, the Sabres have been in the playoffs in 15 years. They were in last place on December 8th, and they just blew past the Tampa Bay Lightning and are going to win the division. What are we doing here? If that ever happened, I never saw it. What I saw was conversation after conversation where Anson Carter would say, John Cooper's never won it, and the other three people on the dais would go, that sounds right.
Can't argue with that.
And that was it. That was the depth of the conversation. And so I would always say something about that, hoping that those guys being the national broadcasters weren't going to sway the thing so heavily that Cooper would just win it anyway, but he did. So I'm not that surprised.
I know.
Because the broadcasters vote, and the biggest broadcasters in the hockey world, mostly to me, again, if there's exceptions, I apologize. But the people that I saw talking about it for the last 3 months all sounded like John Cooper's got to win this. It's an outrage that he never has. And so I was the littlest bit worried that Lindy wasn't going to, bring it home because of that. And it turned out to be correct.
I mean, you watched less intermission content than other people. I watched Top Chef. It never once came up on Top Chef.
Right.
Like Tom, Gail, Kristen.
I'm the best we got in the room.
Nobody ever mentioned Lindy once.
So I don't know what to do with it other than, it seems like since early in the year, people decided John Cooper had to win the Coach of the Year, and they did it. So congrats to them. Good job getting that home for everyone and ignoring the entire hockey season.
I was here yesterday on this, spent most of my day on this. I both want to be done with it and never stop talking about it.
Right.
Because it's just amazing that you could be given the honor of voting for these awards and just basically screw it. I don't know. I'm gonna vote based on who won the Four Nations Cup 2 years ago.
Right. Right.
How I want my Heisman vote back. I do watch a few college games. I'm ahead of some of these people, I think, in terms of seriousness. I don't know. You get to a point where I even got to this point last evening where I was like, all right, well, I've complained about this all day. I've said what I need to say,
right.
And it's just whatever. I admit that I care about it because I was going to win money if Lindy had won. I can't deny that that's part of the equation, but it's just it's for me, a lot of things happen in sports. Coaches make decisions, officials make decisions. I can't do anything about that. I have no real place to tell you that, well, I would have done this differently. What if I were Josh Allen, I would have thrown the ball over there instead of over here? I don't know. But this is one that broadcasters do get to decide. And that's something that I do. I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. I don't have a vote in this one, but this is kind of my terrain and yours. And I just feel like it's just so insulting that this happened to any sort of common sense.
Yeah. And further, I don't know when I sort of played catch up on all this yesterday when I found out, just because of the way my day went and how much I was asleep. But so I don't know at what point you learned of the actual voting breakdown.
Last night.
Okay, after the show, did you have? Okay, that's what I thought. I felt like I didn't see that on my timeline until into the evening.
I was home when I saw it.
But Lindy's not even on 30 some ballots or something. How how does that happen?
I know.
I just don't even. I can't even. That almost feels to me, because how can I know? I'm not going to know unless everyone divulges exactly what they did. But it almost sounds to me like people who wanted Cooper to win would have left Lindy off the ballot to make sure that Cooper could win, which is just patently offensive. Again, how many times yesterday did you have to catch yourself? You mentioned the whatever, easy come, easy go on the gambling thing, but it is right. We were going to win, some money. But how many times did you have to catch yourself sounding so mad about something so, I don't know, it's not silly to the person who's going to win it, but
I think it's okay to care.
I don't want to be disproportionately upset that Lindy Ruff did not win Coach of the Year, but when I saw the breakdown of the voting, I'm like, how did that many people who are charged with watching the league leave him entirely off the ballot? Like, how many was there top three, first, second, and third? Was there other voting places? Like, how in the world do you leave that guy off the ballot? There's like 20 of the coaches in the league are listed on that ballot as having gotten votes. And some number of people who were charged with that job didn't even recognize him at all.
I'm not sure this makes our case any better, but you don't really even have to watch the league to know how to do this.
No, right.
All you have to do is sort of pay some attention and look at the standings.
Sure.
You don't even really have to.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it actually, not to get too deep into it, but what does it actually afford you to watch the games? What does it tell you about a coach's performance? The Sabres are a good forechecking team. Is that coaching? Their goaltending is good. Is that coaching? What does watching the games actually give you?
Yeah, it doesn't really. Fine point. It doesn't matter. Watch the league. Pay attention to the league. Understand what's happening in the league. And the Sabres were, again, are we totally incapable of being even slightly objective about this? They were at least one of the best stories in the entire league from December on. And you're no, he doesn't qualify. I don't know. That sort of put me over the edge to where I'm just in a spot where I know I missed the day. So like I don't want to be the guy that's a day late. And, I'm yelling about the thing everybody was mad about yesterday. And I also am very self-conscious about being too mad about it because it's an NHL award. I mean,
well, that's a particular balancing act that you and I do in our minds because as we get older, we're really just not that upset about sports things anymore. Right? So, I mean, there's a duty to the office, if you will, and like, all right, well, I'm not going to make it up, but I don't want to lose sleep over anything that happens in sports because I'm not insane. I'm 54. I'm not 24, where I was single and had an apartment and no family and just like, oh, this is the most important thing in my life. I don't want to come off either incapable of caring about it or unwilling to care about it or just, like I'm going crazy because I care so much about it. So there's a little bit of a balancing act there.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to care. I think no one should apologize for caring about it because it's really pretty much like caring about any of this. Who wins, who loses, who wins awards, who loses, who wins. I mean, draft lotteries. I don't know. What's that much different about who wins the game and who wins the award? Like it's just for fun. It's okay to care about it. I think it's incredible. You've said everything here again today. I feel like I said everything yesterday. I just am in complete disbelief. I would have voted John Cooper 5th in the Atlantic among coaches. I mean, it's just like what is the? I don't want to say it all again.
I might have given him the nod over Paul Maurice, but whatever.
Me too.
Yeah. Fifth. Okay, right. There's more.
There's 8 teams.
Yeah, there's 8 teams. Right.
Toronto, Florida, and maybe Detroit come in underneath them.
Okay. Yeah.
Ottawa, what kind of coaching job? Boston, what kind of coaching job? Montreal, of course. Buffalo, of course.
Yep.
It wouldn't even have been that hard. But eventually you go on to the next thing. Think of the job we could have done for charities here had we gotten the win for Lindy yesterday. We could have just a little bit kidding, but no, I mean really, like
Right.
that could have been a thing. We did this as a team. I'm sorry. I mean that's just to sort of make fun of ourselves, but yeah, well,
It definitely feels like he got screwed. There's no question about it.
I think one of my favorite points about all of it is that, I mean, really, this is consistent with how I've looked at the NHL and coaching for most of my life. What does a coach actually do in hockey? I mean, you got to keep it on the rails. You don't want to lose your team. They've got to respect you. So sometimes you have to be the heavy. Sometimes you have to, I mean, there's like a human element to it, like any manager or boss. I think there is that. I think there is some strategy.
Of course, yeah. There's, how do we want to forecheck this team tonight? When do we want to lay back? Right, we got a 3-1 lead, third period, tactics. There's stuff in game that matchups and there's stuff.
But it isn't the sport with the most.
No,
stuff.
that's right, because it's free flowing and it changes on the fly and it's
You got to make a lineup.
Yep.
And one of the things about Ruff and the Sabres this year that stands out to me, or stood out to me, it's in the past, stood out to me versus a team like Tampa Bay, is that he had a goaltending situation that he had to kind of juggle and make work. Whereas I don't think John Cooper, like I said yesterday, has had to make a difficult decision about who to start in goal for 10 years. Just like, well, that's easy.
You're right.
Let me push this button.
It's a big game.
Wow.
I got this guy. That's
all right. I'm so good at this. I'm just going to put Vasilevsky in for every game that matters. The Sabres didn't have that luxury. Ruff did not have that luxury. That to me seems like something that would come into your mind when you're actually, if you ever did this, I don't know if anybody bothered to do this, but I would think that I would. You're sort of comparing coaching jobs,
Right.
and one never had to decide who his goalie was going to be in any meaningful way because it was already decided for him, and the other had to decide that every game. And I know the playoffs don't matter to this particular honor, but think about what the playoffs were for Ruff and his goaltending.
Back and forth
He had
4
tough
times.
decisions to make.
Yep.
And, I don't know if he mostly got them right, but at least he had to do it. And this Tampa coach never had to do that once. The only goaltending decisions he ever had to make was when they played 2 games in a row. And which one do I?
Right.
But there was going to be one of them.
Right.
I mean, just like, a grade schooler could do that. You could do that at random. You could literally do that by flipping a coin. And just like, what? Was that part of the equation when it came to like coaching
I'm disappointed also because John Cooper. This started to change this year. Like Tampa had morphed into this sort of, I don't know, look, we're going to push you around and bully you thing. The whole show they put on when they came in here for that 8-7 game. They've been doing that with Florida for a couple of years. They tried it with Montreal in their first round series. Like they've got this new sort of, to me, it's new to them. Like this is how we need to do it. And I think mostly it's pretty embarrassing. Like Corey Perry yelling at your bench and like, dude, you're 41. What are you doing? And so prior to that revealing itself this year, I would have told you Cooper was one of my favorite coaches in the league. I like his interviews. I like him in post-game settings, not just on TV shows. Like he's a very warm, he'll fool around with the guys on the TNT show, which again, I think is a big part of the reason why everybody backed him is because they all like him so much. And like, I've liked him too. I admired the work he's done. I like his personality mostly and can be somewhat self-deprecating. Like he appeals to me, but now he's in my hair. Now he won a thing that my guy was supposed to win. And like, I don't know. I don't know that I can really be objective about him anymore. Like, plus, it was already going south with the way they performed this year, the way they behaved this year. I thought they were just sort of like we're old and don't know what else to do, so we're going to try to punch you, which was kind of embarrassing. So I've lost a guy in the league that I mostly have liked over the course of the last few months.
You don't see yourself getting that back?
No, I don't think so.
Because of this?
Because of this. Yes.
I don't know if I want to blame him for it. It might be right to. Who knows what kind of effort was made. you have this Sharks announcer who was talking about, like, from before the season almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm
those
grasping at straws a little bit to sort of blame Cooper for any sort of effort that may have been made to, campaign for himself. I'm not sure I'd be right to do that. But I think they're very hateable. Already they were.
Mm-hmm.
The Sabres didn't get to play them. I looking back on the playoffs, I kind of regret wanting them to lose. Just because it was safer, I think, for me.
Yeah.
I feel like playing Montreal in the second round was safer. Not in terms of, like, the building, because you play Tampa Bay. Nobody for Tampa Bay is in the building.
That's
really.
right. You're gonna have your whole building to yourself.
But I thought they were so easy to dislike. I don't want the conflict. I don't want the added stress of having a team that I can't stand. The thought of them winning. So give me the Canadians, who to me are like, they're kind of fun, and
right.
Like I
If they
don't
beat
think
me,
I
at
would
least
hate
I'm
them.
not right.
And I never did either.
I still don't.
But you were probably right in the first round, or even before the playoffs started, to talk like, I don't know if I want Montreal to win.
Yeah,
they're kind of scary too, and Tampa just might be old and slow, and maybe I can
take advantage of them. Yeah.
Yes, and I don't remember you saying it before the series, but certainly after the series was, maybe the Sabres kind of planned for Tampa.
Yeah, all right.
By what they did at the deadline.
Yeah, I think once they got into the series with Montreal and Stanley was compromised and he's going to come out, I feel like Paul was the first person I heard say that. But I think it was once the Sabres were in a series with Montreal. It was like, actually, their trade deadline looked to a lot of people like they were loading up to play Tampa. Like, we need more, we need to protect our guys because they're going to come in here and try to, cheap shot us and push us around. That series never materialized. It's funny. It's a very sidebar thing, but like thinking of like planning, which, you plan for things. Did this come up at all? Did you see the open of game one? I don't know if it'll run every night here.
No.
But they had Ray Bourque is the focus of the big produced ESPN Open. And it's excellent. It's well produced and makes sense. If Colorado had made the final, but they didn't, and the thing smacked to me, it's all about Ray Bourque waiting 22 years, right? The famed Gary Thorne, after 22 years, Raymond Bourque, lifting the cup with Colorado, who just lost to Vegas in 4 straight games. It looked like a thing to me that ESPN was planning, like, Colorado's going to get there, let's produce this thing and center it on Ray Bourque, and they had it and loved it, and we're like, we can still make it work. And just stuck with it. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but halfway through the thing, like the first thing you see is a Bruins jersey, a Ray Bourque Bruins jersey. What are we doing here? It's Vegas and Carolina.
These are not hardship
and this
teams.
Thing is all about Ray Bourque. And I mean, I know it's hard to win the cup, and you got to wait, and all. It's John Hamm, and it's great, and it's tear jerky, but it's the wrong guy.
I mean, I've never shed a tear about Ray Bourque myself.
Team. I mean, I don't know. It was very strange to me.
Yep.
Speaking of things that were predetermined, like it just smacked of like, well, we produced this, so let's find a way to make it work.
I got to the point. I guess it was today, not even last night when I was sort of more worked up. It was even today. I got a tweet that sent me in this direction. I asked myself if I thought it was likely that before I was dead, I would think sports were all fixed. And I thought it was close. Like, I feel like as somebody that has just been absolutely steadfast forever, don't waste my time. I do kind of think that maybe I will be convinced by the end of when you sort of become more paranoid and more distracted. I think there's a chance I will be that guy someday. It's all just a parallel universe, a simulation.
It's an off-ramp right now on the highway that you're probably hoping you don't take, but you can see a scenario where you're almost compelled to take it.
I don't want to die soon so that I don't get there. I don't want to go that far at this, but I think I'm like 2%.
Yeah.
And I've never even been 2%.
I'm also rooting for you not to die.
Just,
if it means anything to you.
we really didn't care about this at all, did we? Out there. You really didn't care about it at all. You just wanted to give the guy some flowers. No matter what happened this year.
Pretty much.
That's really what happened.
Yep.
Well, that's got to feel good. Maybe it does. Probably does. That was your objective if you voted for him.
Yeah,
You just wanted him to feel good.
Good job, everyone.
Are you friends now? If you're the voice of the San Jose Sharks and you not only voted for John Cooper, but you explained why you did it, are you guys friends now? Does he have you over? Do you guys have drinks now? Is that what you won? Did you win the right to be his friend?
Or maybe you already were his friend.
Do you call him by his first name? Do you call him Coop? I mean, is that what happens when you just sort of screw with the whole thing like this? Are you guys tight now?
Just for clarity's sake, the Sharks broadcaster you've referenced a couple of times here, the comments that are making the rounds are from last year's vote. He also voted for Cooper last year. That's why the Four Nations is mentioned in there, and that you might assume he did the same thing this year, but he's explaining last year's compulsion to vote for John Cooper. Okay. But everything he cites is outside of the parameters of how the playoffs went doesn't matter. How the playoffs went the year before does not matter. How the Four Nations Cup went does not matter. None of it matters. And that's all the things that were.
And it didn't matter last year.
Right, exactly.
It did, but
right.
It shouldn't have. Probably.
I just wanted to point out that that's not recent. That's a year old or more.
Good. Well,
But
maybe they went to each other's weddings.
Yeah.
I want to be his friend. I'm sorry I'm going so far here. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. Aaron Schatz today, and Sal as well. This is WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garflow, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
Give Belknap a ring.
I was here yesterday on this. Spent most of my day on this. I both want to be done with it and never stop talking about it.
Right.
Because it's just amazing that you could be given the honor of voting for these awards and just basically like screw it. I don't know. I'm gonna vote based on who won the Four Nations Cup 2 years ago.
Right.
Like
right.
How I want my Heisman vote back. I do watch a few college games. I'm ahead of some of these people, I think, in terms of seriousness. I don't know. You get to a point where I even got to this point last evening where I was like, all right, well, I've complained about this all day. I've said what I needed to say,
Right.
and it's just whatever. I admit that I care about it because I was going to win money if Lindy had won. I can't deny that that's part of the equation, but it's just like, it's for me, a lot of things happen in sports. Coaches make decisions, officials make decisions. I can't do anything about that. I have no real place.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. I mean, they've won it now, right? So, yeah, I had none. I mean, he's a hell of a player versus hell of a player. And they're two totally different players. But that was what they felt like they needed to do, and good for them, man.
Lions coach Dan Campbell on, I guess, Myles Garrett and the Rams. Dan Campbell on the opposite sideline for the first regular season game we will have in the new stadium Thursday night, week 2, Detroit. There are 2 preseason games here before that. And I like thinking about just like sort of how they rate. I heard Joe talking about this last week, being a season ticket holder, how I don't know if I want to go to a preseason game as my first game. I don't know if I want Kyle Allen to be my quarterback for my first time in there. And then Jeremy's like, well, don't you want to know where the bathrooms are and where to buy beer? And Joe's like, I think I can figure that out.
Yeah, in one trip. I go to stadiums I've never been in before and figure out how to do that.
Exactly.
Well enough.
So I like that debate. They do have 2 preseason home games. Carolina and Pittsburgh, I believe, are the teams 2 weeks apart, and the Bills have a road game in between with the Browns. And Sal said to me yesterday or the day before that they'll practice with the Browns on that weekend. So I don't know. What would you do? Would you could you actually not go to the preseason games in the name of this is just not the real thing and this is a special year, historic, so I'm just going to skip this? You already paid for the tickets.
I think the preseason presents a tremendous opportunity for you to, whether it's find out where the bathrooms are or where to get beer. I mean, that's a little sort of rudimentary. I think you got a chance to go just explore. You just, like, see, wherever whatever level your tickets are on. Walk, do what you probably are not going to do when you go in there depending on how early you get in there for a regular season game. But like without any real, debate about, I don't want to miss anything. You're in a preseason game. Walk around. Like, let's see what all the food offerings are. Like, it's one thing to read them in a pamphlet. Let's just go see. What does this look like? What's that look like? What's this section like? Do I have access to this area? Can I go here? Can I go there? I think I would want to go there for a preseason game if I were a season ticket holder just to do that. Because that's not so much like I'm going to find out exactly where my beer and bathroom are, but I want to see what there is all to offer here.
I love that. It reminds me of how I would want to hang out at the stadium for the first half or so of the first preseason game when we were in there broadcasting, because it's not even what you're saying, because I think I know where stuff is, but I kind of just want a taste of it.
Yeah.
It's back.
I'm just going to sit here and look at it for a while.
Yeah.
On a nice summer night.
Sit up in the upper deck, and it's still going to be light out for 2 hours, and it's plenty warm in shorts, just like to get a taste of the football season. Saturday afternoon, August 15th, 1 o'clock is Carolina. That's the preseason opener. And the second home game is against the Steelers Thursday, 12 days out. So 2 weeks later.
Yep.
And that's a night. Of course, it's a Thursday. That's a night game. In between at the Browns, Saturday, the 22nd of August.
And that is also an afternoon game if you're planning to travel to Cleveland. But yeah, no, I like this idea of exploring the stadium and using those games as an opportunity to do that. A lot of people, right? They're not. I mean, they've taken, if they got season tickets, maybe they've had that stadium experience. So you have that idea, but it's not like they're going the average fan is every few months getting a hard hat and going to take a tour, like a lot of people in the media have, somehow excluding us.
Not us.
So, I think you want to get familiar with it, Like I went to a preseason game. I think there was a preseason game the first year of the arena. There was also a concert that I did not go to, that I think might have been the first official event
because it was Journey
in the arena. No, I think it was. I think the Goo Goo Dolls played, but I did not make it to that. But I think I went to a preseason game to check out the arena. Just want to, and I don't regret that all these years later that it like I broke the seal on something as inconsequential as a preseason game. Whatever, it's a new building. I'm probably going to be here a lot. And if you're a season ticket holder for the Bills, that's exactly how you should feel. Like, let me go. It's like, it's an open house, but you already own a piece of it. You're going to be there. Like, let's see what we got here.
Here's a new cool place.
Right.
I've been invited. I bought a ticket for this. Maybe I should actually use it.
Yeah. Invited is an interesting way. I mean, I
invited.
I paid my way in, whatever. But you certainly have access, and I'd be surprised if you wouldn't want to use it.
So today, BetOnline sent out an email with every NFL team's exact finish odds in their division. You can get 8-1 in the Bills to finish third. Does that seem like
highly unlikely? Yes.
I mean, take your heart out of the equation. Does that seem like something you could get to?
No.
There's no way they won't finish top two?
No, I'd be betting on Josh Allen getting hurt.
And you don't want to do that.
And I'm not going to do that.
How sure are we about this? That Miami and the Jets have no chance of top two. I mean, that's almost never really been something you could say.
It's really because of the state of those two franchises that I would feel the most. Because I'm maybe a little more uneasy about the Bills going into a new era here with a new coach. And a new defense. And there's a lot of new there that, there's a lot of stuff that you got to get right that I don't want to just take for granted. So I'm a little cautious. But even then, I'm not cautious about my opinion. I could be wrong about my opinion about the Jets and Dolphins, but I think the Jets and Dolphins are probably going to be two of the worst teams in the league again. So to me, it would be stunning if the Bills finished behind one of those two teams.
What if New England did?
That would also be stunning to me.
So the Bills are 8-1 to finish third, plus 800. New England is plus 525. Considerably different. Plus 525. 5-1 and change to finish third. Would they be the same for you as the Bills in terms of that?
Yeah, it's interesting.
So you wouldn't want to bet that?
No, I wouldn't want to bet either one. It's interesting to me that New England is that. I mean, that's significant. It's not quite. It's not half. So I don't want to exaggerate, but still, it's a significant odds difference. And I think the two teams have about the same chance of finishing in third place. Is the way I would look at it.
So of the two, you'd have to go Bills for the price, but you wouldn't.
But I wouldn't bother. But yeah, the Bills are a more appealing price.
New England starts, so think about last year. Actually, this doesn't really work because last year, didn't they start 1-2? They lost to the Raiders at home. They lost to the Steelers at home early. So it wasn't that the Patriots got a lead right away. They won the game here in week 5, maybe it was.
To pass the Bills.
And after that, it was kind of their race. But this year, the Patriots start at Seattle, Pittsburgh, at Jacksonville. I think they'd be an underdog there. At Buffalo. That's New England's first 4 games. And they also have a stretch late, and the Bills have kind of this same sort of thing, but where they go to, after the bye in Week 11, this is New England, at the Chargers, Bills, Vikings on a short week at night, at Kansas City at night, at the Jets, Denver, and then Miami. That's how they close. So that's pretty rugged. That start, though, I mean, I think if you went by Vegas odds, they would be 1-3 to start. And then what are we all talking about? Oh, so much for your easy schedule. Those days are over. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not going to be dead at that point. And then they go Raiders, Jets at home those 2 weeks after that, which they'll be almost definitely favored for those games. Funny that they get the Steelers and the Raiders again early in the season like last year, when they lost to both of those teams, like I said. But tough start at Seattle, Pittsburgh, at Jacksonville, and then at the Bills.
I botched that, or I said matter of factly, they beat the Bills and they passed them that day. They did not. They already had the 2 losses. The Bills the next week lost in Atlanta, and that's when New England pulled into a tie with them and had them on the tiebreaker, and then they never looked back.
Right. The Bills were 4-0 going into the game with the Patriots.
That's right.
And it was a super winnable game. Just a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, a couple of great plays by Drake May. That one roll into his right to Diggs way downfield was massive. Yep.
Diggs had a big game. 803-0550 for your calls. Aaron Schatz coming up in 20 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. To tell you that, well, I would have done this differently. What if I were Josh Allen, I would have thrown the ball over there instead of over here? Like, I don't know. But this is one that broadcasters do get to decide. And that's something that I do. I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. I don't have a vote in this one, but like this is kind of my terrain and yours. And I just feel like it's just so insulting that this happened to any sort of common sense. I've already decided who did the best coaching job in the league, and I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to send it.
That's completely reasonable.
I feel like John Hines is somebody who has. Yeah. I mean, look, they're in tough.
Yeah.
He's the coach of Minnesota, by the way. They're in tough with Dallas and Colorado in that division. Winnipeg will probably be back. I mean, what more does the guy have to do? He's up against it.
Well, and they did win a round in the playoffs.
Well.
So I mean, you want to
that'll break this year's winners record.
You want to consider that. I mean, that'll help too. It was really, I mean, there was nothing I could do about not being here yesterday.
No, that's not
true.
But
I was really bummed out.
No pun intended.
You asked me, I think on Monday, when is the Jack Adams going to get on? I had no idea. I haven't ever seen a schedule of when because I think they're trying to surprise.
There isn't one.
The winners, right? So they just
no. They're not trying to surprise the winners because that's why John Cooper and Marcus Foligno were in hospitals when they were shown to have learned that they won. So they knew.
Okay.
I mean, somebody knew.
You're sure? Right. Well, that's what I mean.
They said Foligno, they said, was surprised to find out. But
every one of those videos to me has been presented, the trophies, the NHL trophies, has been presented as we spread. Obviously, the people who, whoever counted the votes somebody knows to go track these people down at these charitable appearances, but they're being presented on social media as we showed up and told John Cooper he won Coach of the Year. Look how happy he is. So
look at us. Anyway,
but I heard about that, obviously, and you had asked me, and I had no idea, and it turned out to be yesterday, and I wasn't going to be here. All I really have to say is that every time, including earlier this week, when you might have asked on the air, when are they announcing Coach of the Year?
When do we get our money?
I said, right. I said, I don't know. And you said very matter-of-factly, like you have probably dozens of times, he's going to win, right? And I'd be like, I think so, but the whole conversation, every time I saw a conversation about that award, And, surely, I tweeted a lot of this. Surely there's people that watch way more of the intermissions and pregame stuff on the national telecast, both in Canada and the U.S., than I do.
Well, that's good.
But I watch a fair amount of it. I saw a half a dozen or more conversations about awards. And whenever Coach of the Year would come up, doesn't matter if it's TSN or Sportsnet or TNT or ESPN, if there's three people there, one person says something about John Cooper, the other two nod and go, that sounds right. And that was the conversation. Never one time did I see, this doesn't mean it didn't happen again because I'm not watching and monitoring everything, but I have a feeling we would have seen it if someone, remember when Kevin Bieksa went hard on Darlene as Norris, right? That got to us. It wasn't hard to find. If someone ever sat sitting at one of those desks discussing the Coach of the Year, ever raised their hand and went, guys, the Sabres have been in the playoffs in 15 years. They were in last place on December 8th, and they just blew past the Tampa Bay Lightning and are going to win the division. What are we doing here? If that ever happened, I never saw it. What I saw was conversation after conversation where Anson Carter would say, John Cooper's never won it, and the other three people on the dais would go, that sounds right.
Can't argue with that.
And that was it. That was the depth of the conversation. And so I would always say something about that, hoping that those guys being the national broadcasters weren't going to sway the thing so heavily that Cooper would just win it anyway, but he did. So I'm not that surprised.
I know.
Because the broadcasters vote, and the biggest broadcasters in the hockey world, mostly to me, again, if there's exceptions, I apologize. But the people that I saw talking about it for the last 3 months all sounded like John Cooper's got to win this. It's an outrage that he never has. And so I was the littlest bit worried that Lindy wasn't going to, bring it home because of that. And it turned out to be correct.
I mean, you watched less intermission content than other people. I watched Top Chef. It never once came up on Top Chef.
Right.
Tom, Gail, Kristen.
I'm the best we got in the room.
Nobody ever mentioned Lindy once.
So I don't know what to do with it other than, it seems like since early in the year, people decided John Cooper had to win the Coach of the Year, and they did it. So congrats to them. Good job getting that home for everyone and ignoring the entire hockey season.
Do you expect that you will have World Cup fever? 1 week from today is the first game. 3:00.
It would take a lot for me to come down with a fever, I think. I'm interested, but not to the point of influenza. I may want to. There's I saw, and I haven't committed to memory the dates yet, but I saw, like I mentioned this to you off the air, Duende Silo City is hosting some parties, viewing parties for select games, and different restaurants are contributing, like depending on the countries that are playing, whatever. I might want to go take that in. The games are going to be projected onto grain elevators down in that part of the city, which I think just sounds like a really cool idea and smart too, because I think the soccer fan is the kind of fan that'll go do something like that. Not judging anyone who just wants to go to Canal Side and look at giant screens. I mean, that has its merit too. It's right by the arena. I like that idea, but I don't know. I'm not fever. No, definitely not. I never considered let me see if I can get tickets to a game in Toronto. I need to do this. I don't know. I don't. The whole thing just feels sort of grubby to me. So I'm sure once the games start, it won't. But the whole run up to it has just been the tickets are outrageous. The price gouging on transit to and from stadiums and venues is outrageous. So I'm far from a fever.
Far from a fever. The story of the 2006 Cleveland Browns.
How about
Far from a fever.
How about yourself? Do you feel your pulse quickening to some extent thinking about the World Cup?
I don't know if I could go that far either, but I do like that it's happening. I'm excited for it. Is that a fever? Not really. But maybe that comes. I'm excited for it. Next Thursday at 3 o'clock, Mexico versus South Africa. Group A. From Mexico. And then 10 o'clock that night, also from Mexico, South Korea and Czechia. I think I'll watch that. I think next Thursday night at 10, I'm watching World Cup. Next Friday, 3 o'clock, try not to get distracted because it'll be on in here, Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina, both. They don't talk about
It's tough.
that.
Yeah.
That's from Toronto.
That's like if you're dealing with a wrestler that's got a manager, and you got to deal with the manager in addition to the wrestler. Like it's
Elizabeth.
It's an unfair fight.
You have Randy Macho Man Savage,
Yeah.
and then Elizabeth comes along with a chair.
Right.
And you already thought it was going to be hard. Now you got this problem.
Yeah. The mouth of the South is out there with a bullhorn or
The
something.
mouth of the South.
It's not fair. Anyway.
Wrestling manager draft.
So,
Gene, I'll go with mixing all the old bits. I'll go with Lou Albano. Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's Friday at 3 from Toronto. And then 9 o'clock next Friday night is USA, Paraguay from L.A.
all right.
I'm totally watching that. Even though it sounds like we're not that good. Other World Cups have sounded to me like, hey, they're not the favorite, but
Why not
there's
them?
a chance.
Yeah.
This is the first time in a long time for me it sounds like they have no chance. Yeah. I don't know. Pochettino, the coach.
Right.
You a fan?
Big famous coach.
Big famous coach. Pulisic. That's all I got. That's next Friday night. And then Saturday there are 3 games. And Australia, maybe it's 4 if you count Australia because they play at midnight, our time. Probably so that it's a reasonable time in Australia.
Yeah, all right.
So there are games that are super late
Yeah.
for us, and then there are games at like noon and 1 over the course of the tournament. But 3 o'clock, week from today, is the opener from Mexico. You got to bet it.
I don't got to do anything, but
You should.
know,
if you bet it,
sure.
you have a little bit of juice there that you might appreciate having. It's not a fever, but it's a juice. It's a little bit of
my favorite thing about
being alive.
The first time I remember, I don't know, paying attention to that's not the right way to put it. I paid attention to the World Cup for many, many years, I suppose, many times over. But when I remember the World Cup in what are the years? Would 06 have been a World Cup, or is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. There's a year where Owen's about 4 years old, and that would fit. And he had a map of the world, a huge map. It almost took up an entire wall in his room. And we had that. And we'd look at the schedule that day, like who's playing.
Oh,
and
push pins?
Push pins.
Yes.
And we would I remember standing on his bed to get to the map, like, no, okay, well, this is where, Senegal is or whatever. I don't remember. It was just it was a fun way to do that with him, and he was into that. I don't know. I wonder if he even really remembers that. He was old enough to remember it, but.
The very same thing is up in his studio, so he must think of it.
Oh yeah,
somewhat fondly that he's.
No,
that's not true.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I don't think that's true. I don't see anything.
I don't
like
go
that.
in
I just
there.
made that up.
Okay, I see.
Aaron Schatz coming up after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Really, I mean, I there was nothing I could do about not being here yesterday.
No, that's not
true. But I
true.
was really bummed out.
No pun intended.
You asked me, I think, on Monday. When is the Jack Adams going to get on? I had no idea. I haven't ever seen a schedule of when because I think they're trying to surprise.
There isn't one.
The winners, right? So they just
No, they're not trying to surprise the winners because that's why John Cooper and Marcus Foligno were in hospitals when they were shown to have learned that they won. So they knew.
Okay.
I mean, somebody knew.
You're sure, right. Well, that's what I mean.
They said Foligno, they said, was surprised to find out. But
every one of those videos to me has been presented, the trophies, the NHL trophies, has been presented as we spread. Obviously, the people who, whoever counted the votes somebody knows to go track these people down at these charitable appearances. but they're being presented on social media as we showed up and told John Cooper he won Coach of the Year. Look how happy he is. So
look at us.
Anyway, but I heard about that, obviously, and you had asked me, and I had no idea, and it turned out to be yesterday, and I wasn't going to be here. All I really have to say is that every time, including earlier this week, when you might have asked on the air, when are they announcing Coach of the Year?
When do we get our money?
I said, right. I said, I don't know. And you said very matter-of-factly, like you have probably dozens of times, he's going to win, right? And I'd be like, I think so, but the whole conversation, every time I saw a conversation about that award, and, surely, I tweeted a lot of this, surely there's people that watch way more of the intermissions and pregame stuff on the national telecast, both in Canada and the U.S., than I do.
Well, that's good.
But I watch a fair amount of it. I saw a half a dozen or more conversations about awards. And whenever Coach of the Year would come up, doesn't matter if it's TSN or Sportsnet or TNT or ESPN, if there's three people there, one person says something about John Cooper, the other two nod and go, that sounds right. And that was the conversation. Never one time did I see, this doesn't mean it didn't happen again because I'm not watching and monitoring everything, but I have a feeling we would have seen it if someone, remember when Kevin Bieksa went hard on Darlene as Norris, right? That got to us. It wasn't hard to find. If someone ever sat sitting at one of those desks discussing the Coach of the Year, ever raised their hand and went, guys, the Sabres have been in the playoffs in 15 years. They were in last place on December 8th, and they just blew past the Tampa Bay Lightning and are going to win the division. What are we doing here? If that ever happened, I never saw it. What I saw was conversation after conversation where Anson Carter would say, John Cooper's never won it, and the other three people on the dais would go, that sounds right.
Can't argue with that.
And that was it. That was the depth of the conversation. And so I would always say something about that, hoping that those guys being the national broadcasters weren't going to sway the thing so heavily that Cooper would just win it anyway, but he did. So I'm not that surprised.
I know. Because
the broadcasters vote, and the biggest broadcasters in the hockey world, mostly to me, again, if there's exceptions, I apologize. But the people that I saw talking about it for the last 3 months all sounded like John Cooper's got to win this. It's an outrage that he never has. And so I was the littlest bit worried that Lindy wasn't going to, bring it home because of that. And it turned out to be correct.
I mean, you watched less intermission content than other people. I watched Top Chef. It never once came up on Top Chef.
Right.
Tom, Gail, Kristen.
I'm the best we got in the room.
Nobody ever mentioned Lindy once.
So I don't know what to do with it other than, it seems like since early in the year, people decided John Cooper had to win the Coach of the Year, and they did it. So congrats to them. Good job getting that home for everyone and ignoring the entire hockey season.
Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Carolina. Vegas does lead that series 1-0. Puck drop is at 8 o'clock, and you can listen to the game right here on WGR with coverage beginning at 7:30. But potentially some huge hockey news for this offseason. Elliot Friedman first to report that Red Wings center Dylan Larkin has requested a trade from Detroit after 11 seasons with the team. In the NFL, more extensions coming down the line. Packers locking in wide receiver Christian Watson to a 4-year, $110.5 million deal. That extension does include $31 million as a signing bonus. Cornerback L'Jarius Sneed is visiting the Chiefs today, a team he was with from 2020 until 2023. And then Lions rookie wide receiver Kendrick Law was confirmed today to have torn his ACL at practice earlier this week. In baseball, Bison's on the road versus Worcester. First pitch tonight at 6:05. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Then in the majors, happening just moments ago, the Yankees do take down Cleveland at 2-1. And then coming up at 7:15, the Jays. They are at Atlanta versus the Braves. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart. Where'd you get that thing?
I trapped it. Been keeping it in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do. Namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
We're on TV now. YouTube, Twitch, whatever else. Can you see the trophy today? I tried to put the trophy a little bit. Do I have to move it? A little bit.
It's going to
More?
fall. It's going to fall again.
That's
Be
right. This
careful.
happened.
Didn't it fall the last time?
My
you
head has got to
did
be
this?
in the way now. Lift it up.
Yeah, you probably need me to help you here. I don't know.
Anyway, the League of Shopes and Dreams entering its 9th season. The draft is Saturday. I will not be there, which pains me.
Nice commitment.
Nice leadership.
Yeah.
I will be at my son. He has a lacrosse clinic, and we're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then another guy said he can't go because his daughter is in a dance recital. And then another guy, Brian Gates, is like, you know what? I can't go. My daughter is in a dance recital. And then Jeremy, there it is. He won the league. He gets to pick the venue, the whole thing. I felt bad. I apologized to him right away. He said, you don't have to apologize. He's going to leave early because he's going to a dance recital. And then another guy just said in the group text, actually, no kidding, when it's over, I'm going to my girlfriend's daughter's dance recital. Really?
Wow.
There are at least 4. Are there 50 dance recitals on Saturday? Is this? I think I've been fortunate to have missed these.
It's dance recital season, apparently.
My niece is in dance, and everybody's going to a dance recital.
You need to get into a league with some older guys.
Well, you won't say yes.
My kids ain't got no dance recitals, and I don't have friends and anyone who's got dance recitals.
Prerequisite. You can't have kids who aren't adults. Aaron, are you in? Aaron Schatz? I don't know your family situation, but if you want to be in this league, Bulldog is cooked up, and we'd love to have you.
Hey, I'm a little far away, but I do not have any dance recitals this weekend.
Right, you're in the clear.
You're at FTN Fantasy now. The Almanac's back, and all your your legacy lives on here. All the years you've been covering the sport. Do you play much fantasy football, Aaron? I don't even know.
A little bit. We've got a FTN staff league and a dynasty league, and I play in a couple with my friends from college, and then one expert league or something, and then that's about it.
Okay. Well, just the door is open if you want to do this new one.
Yeah.
No kids allowed.
If you haven't gotten the hint yet, Aaron, yes.
Yeah, if you ever want to just add to your portfolio.
I'm always find myself looking forward to when we're going to have you on, Aaron, but especially when I found out we were going to have you today, because something I have been thinking about since it happened is just how much the Rams helped themselves by exchanging Garrett for Verse. I mean, I know there's draft picks and other stuff that, will weigh the trade one way or another years down the road, because it's not just Verse for Garrett, of course. But how much does getting Garrett in place of Verse move the meter for the Rams to you?
Well, in our projections, it moved them about half a win up. But I have a feeling that that's underselling it a little bit because, you know, we measure, defensive personnel moving in and out using approximate value from a Pro Football Reference, and that's just approximate. And, you know, it's like Verse could be like the 10th best pass rusher in the league, and still the difference between him and Garrett is just huge. And it's also what Garrett, you know, opens up for what the Rams can do on defense and just opening up the possibilities. Now, listen, there's no guarantee that Garrett is on a good defense, right? Because 2 years ago, Cleveland was 25th in the league in defense by my numbers, despite the fact that Myles Garrett had an awesome season. You still have to have, like, the rest of your defense, but the Rams do have some pretty good players on defense now that they have McDuffie and Watson at cornerback, good safeties, and Nate Landman. Byron Young is the other edge rusher, and a kid named Josiah Stewart who's really promising. So, yeah, the Rams, you know, defense looks really, really good. Once again, you know, the best teams in the league look like they're in the NFC, and in particular the NFC West.
Does the specter of Aaron Donald coming back do anything to enhance this, or is that like a TBD for you?
Oh, I mean, it's TBD. I don't think he'll really come back. He sounded really like he was done when he said he was done. And it's not like he has to come back to chase the ring, because he did get a ring when he was playing. But apparently there is a little bit of smoke here. And, I mean, I'm sure he still could be a phenomenal player if he came back despite having the year off. But I'm going to guess that he won't.
I flatter myself to say that I think on a lot of these topics, you and I are like-minded. When the Browns make that trade, I'm like almost giddy for the Browns. One thing about it is that, and we had this with the Sabres, and we've made this comparison a couple times. The Sabres had a great year. That has changed. But when a team has been losing for so long, I think there's only so much capacity you have as a fan of that team to listen to, well, we got draft picks, and actually this chart says we did well in this trade. But in a vacuum, I think this is really exciting for Cleveland. Do you agree?
Yeah, especially because they got Verse back. It's not just draft picks. They've got a proven player who still has 3 years on his rookie contract if you count the option, the fifth-year option. And so let's say that next year they take a quarterback, and let's say they luck out, they get a good one. So when that quarterback is in his second year, and hopefully they're ready to contend, Verse will still be there and hopefully signs an extension for them. So it's not just the draft picks. Apparently, they were talking to the Eagles, and they told the Eagles they wanted Jalen Carter in the deal. So clearly it was important to the Browns that they not just get draft picks, but that they get a proven first-round talent who's not as good as Garrett, but is pretty good.
How about the other big trade here, A.J. Brown, Aaron? This is one that, unlike Myles Garrett, I think we all saw coming. So I don't know what kind of movement there would have been in the betting markets or anything, because I think this has been assumed that A.J. Brown would land in New England, maybe a little bit less so in the last few weeks, but ultimately this is what happened. How big of an upgrade is this for the Patriots?
You know, Stephon Diggs was pretty good last year. So it's a bigger upgrade from what they had than it is from what they had last year, right? It's an upgrade from what they had last year, but more importantly, Diggs wasn't there anymore, and it's a really significant upgrade from what they would have had if they had not made this trade. Brown is still really, really good. Now, I don't know what the situation is with his knee. Apparently there were teams that were a little bit scared, and he's not, going to be able to practice every day, and he has to have it drained occasionally. But apparently he's still playing at a very high level, and he's probably one of the 10 best receivers in the league. I don't know how much longer he'll be that because, he's a little older now. But it's a really good addition for the Patriots. And, they paid significantly for it. But what's interesting is that they traded a 2028 first instead of a 2027 first, which sort of suggests, first of all, just how much people like next year's draft, but also, the idea that they want to get one more young first-rounder in under Drake May's rookie contract before they have a year where they don't have a first-round pick.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that price, it being a 28-1, really, everything the Patriots do, especially at receiver, or really anything anyone does at receiver, we in Buffalo, like certain people in Buffalo anyway, like me, are paying attention. And the Bills traded a second for DJ Moore. And that feels like the same as a 28 first to me at this point in time. Like with just, I don't know if that's right or not, but like the price feels pretty comparable. And then considering the contracts, like it all just seems really, I don't know. I still feel like the Bills overpaid for DJ Moore, I guess, is where I end up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people feel that way, and we'll have to see how much he rebounds from, how much last year's down year was more about like how he fit into the offense. And, that's how it's perceived. You sort of discount one round for every year in the future that a pick is. But in reality, a 2028 first is worth more than a 2027 second. But I will say that, or actually it was a 2026
second, right? It was an immediate.
Yeah. But, some of it is Brown's comfort with Vrabel. Right, like there's some feeling that Brown is unhappy, and I don't know whether it would be that way in Buffalo. I mean, obviously he went to Buffalo. It's a better quarterback, and he's the clear number one receiver. But he wanted to go to New England. He talks about it being the team he rooted for growing up. He's got a close relationship for Vrabel from when they were both with Tennessee. So I don't think that the Bills were in play for this one.
With Aaron Schatz, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. How about Bills versus Patriots going into next season? Aaron, with this move, we all heard about New England's schedule last year and just historically favorable. They did take advantage of it, of course. The Bills go in, not by a huge margin, and it's still only early June, but for now, as a division favorite over the Patriots. How do you want to compare the two teams?
Yeah, I think based on the idea that we try to predict the future looking at 2 or 3 years of the past, not just 1 year of the past, it makes sense that the Bills should be slight favorites. The Patriots obviously took advantage of that super easy schedule. It's not their schedule is super hard this year. Their schedule is actually kind of close to average this year by my numbers, and similar to the Bills' schedule. They have similar schedules, so it's not going to be like last year, but that team still has a lot of talent. I mean, I think, it's probably like 60-40 Bills at this point, and I don't know, 1% Jets. I don't know. Weird things happen in the NFL, right? But if you, the thing about the AFC East is if you told yourself a story about which teams are going to take a leap this year, the way the Patriots did last year, you would mostly look at teams with young quarterbacks. You'd look at the Giants. You'd look at the Titans. You would not look at the Jets. And I don't think you'd look at the Dolphins given, not the quarterback, but given everything else going on with that team. So it really feels like a two-horse race.
Aaron, I'm sort of a little shook, I guess, by the changes here and just the assumption that the train will just keep rolling along unencumbered here. It's a whole new defensive scheme. We'll see about what kind of personnel fit into that. I'm sort of bracing for halfway through the year. Well, we still don't have all the guys we need or something with Jim Leonard's defense. And it's a first-time head coach. I mean, I appreciate his relationship with Allen and the offense being really largely unaffected other than some, personnel changes. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot you got to get right as a first-time head coach and with a new system on one side of the ball that it makes it hard for me to just assume the Bills are going to win their 12 games just rolling out of bed.
Well, it may not be 12, but, I agree with you. When you change coaching staffs, all other things being equal, you take a little bit of a step back. Okay? The fact is, the reason why I think the Bills are still favored in the division is, one, sort of looking 2 or 3 years, the idea that they'll bounce back a little bit from last year's decline. And second, that they've got the quarterback, right? They've still got, as good as Drake May was last year, I think if you said who are the 3 best quarterbacks in the league, you would still say they are Mahomes, Allen, and Jackson in some order. And the Bills have one of those 3 guys. So there's that, that makes them favorites.
With Aaron Schatz, I want to make sure I bring up 1977 before we lose you today, Aaron, because of your great work, DVOA, and everything that's you've because I'm a sucker for old games, and I know you've been writing about that season. But in terms of this year, so you mentioned earlier you slipped in how the NFC has the top, the pedigree at the top of the, lineup, so to speak, with the Rams and the defending Super Bowl champs and maybe certain other teams. How dramatic a shift has there been? The quarterbacks you named are all in the AFC, but the rosters, everybody seems to agree the Rams are top of the list, and then Seattle, I don't know, San Francisco, Philadelphia, the Bears. What kind of – is there an imbalance right now between the conferences?
Yeah, the NFC has the rosters and the coaches. The AFC has the quarterback.
Interesting.
We're mostly talking here about the West, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those three teams may be the three best coaches in the NFL. And while, at least the Rams have a quarterback who's almost as good. The main reason you don't see him as good as the guys from the AFC is, that he's older, Stafford. But I think that then Philadelphia, I don't have as high for this year, although they're still the best in their division. And, the NFC North has good teams. Detroit, I think, is still going to be really good this year. Chicago's really interesting. There's a lot of reasons to think their defense is going to be really bad.
The Bears.
They were a bad defense last year, despite having lots of turnovers and really good production on third down, and those things tend to regress. But their offense, I think, is going to be, despite the losing Dahlman in the center, I think their offense will be better in the second year under Ben Johnson. So they're going to be a really interesting team. I'll give a hint as to the projections from the upcoming FTN Almanac. We have Chicago projected as the number 2 offense in the league and the number 32 defense.
Well, that's fantasy viable right there. That's the perfect.
Oh, yeah.
There's
going to be a lot of fantasy points in Chicago. Oh, yeah.
That's the perfect recipe right there. This has been Dallas for most of the last 5 years, right? Just like hot shootouts.
Well, Dallas will be similar, but we don't think as extreme.
Yeah. You made a very interesting prediction in the ESPN article that's just out, picking Houston to be the 1 seed in the AFC. I hope I have that accurate. I've been sort of crushing on Jacksonville, but the same column suggests maybe they're due. I think maybe this was yourself, due for regression.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was really surprised when I did my projections that Houston comes out pretty ahead of the rest of the AFC, partly because of schedule, right? The Texans and the Jags have easier schedules than like the Bills and Patriots do, I think. But also, their defense is going to be really good again, probably. And, you can't predict defense as well as offense, so maybe they're not going to be, but probably they will be. And their offense should improve. They worked on the offensive line again. They've got a better running back, and they've got Tank Dell back, we think. Mm-hmm. Right? Like a little bit of an asterisk on this, because if Tank Dell is not back, then their offense is not as likely to improve. But if the defense is one of the top 3 in the league, and their schedule is what we think it is, and their offense is average, then they're a really, really big Super Bowl contender.
Bills at Texans week 1. Montgomery seems like a fit, a little bit just sort of makes sense for them as the running back if he's not, washed up or anything. And Houston has young wide receivers in the back if it's not Tank Dell. What does all of this say about Stroud, or what is your opinion of him? Does he get the credit or the blame that he might deserve? I mean, what is Stroud at this point?
We're all overreacting to the playoffs, right? He had a terrible game in the playoffs, just terrible. But he's not as good, I think, as he looked like he was going to be his rookie year. The thing is that he's stagnated, right? So when you saw how good he was his rookie year, your natural assumption is, well, if that's how good he is as a rookie, well, let's add to it and see. Then by year 2 and 3, he's going to be this guy. And that's not what happened. He took a step back, but then he took another step forward last year, not to quite what he was as a rookie, but better. So I think if you were to rank every quarterback in the league right now, I think you would put Stroud, 12th or so. Mm-hmm. And if they've got a reasonable offensive line and they've got good skill players, Nico Collins is very good, right? You can have an above-average offense with that. And when you combine it with the defense that they have, and an easy schedule, that's a really strong Super Bowl contender.
What's the Jacksonville regression argument?
I mean, a lot of it is just plexiglass principle. Teams that improve dramatically tend to take a step back the following year. But also, I think when you look at the roster, this is from a not from a statistical perspective, but from a let's just go through the roster. There are questions like how much pass rush do they really have other than Josh Hines-Allen? Is Trevon Walker really good enough as the other guy? They lost a few guys to free agency that they didn't really replace. There's only two teams that we think are not in line to play anyone new as a starter. In other words, no draft picks, no trade acquisitions, no free agent signings. And that is Seattle, which I might be wrong about if the rookie price starts at running back, and Jacksonville. They're going to start all guys that they had last year. So they lose like Devin Lloyd and they replace him with Ventrell Miller. Well, Ventrell Miller wasn't good enough to start last year. And you still don't know what's going on with the Travis Hunter experiment. So, I mean, there's reasons to believe in statistical regression, but also questions about the roster. But none of this is, I'm not saying they're going to go back to being 5-12. Like, I think Jacksonville is a good team. I just think they're not as likely to be good as Houston is.
All right. Aaron, 1977. I think we're approximately the same age. This would have been right on the cusp of when I started following the NFL, but I'm a junkie for it. Your research brings that season, as you go back year by year, into the into the books in terms of DVOA and that. I have one question about late 70s football that I cannot figure out, which is I don't understand how there were so many turnovers in games. Like Dallas stood out to you in your research. 77, they won the Super Bowl that year, right, Dallas?
Yeah, they were the best team and they won the Super Bowl.
Oakland was right there. Like, they were great. They were the defending champs. Their last 3 regular season games, 8 combined, the two teams, 8 turnovers, 10 turnovers, 11. The Bills didn't they just have a year where they turned the ball over like 6 times the whole season or something? What is it or was it about this era in the NFL, if there's an easy answer to this?
The first is more deep passing, especially before the invention of the West Coast offense, meant more of a risk-reward scenario where you'd either get a deep completion or you'd have the interception. And quarterbacks were less concerned with interceptions than they are now. I mean, no one likes an interception, but they weren't like Aaron Rodgers does everything in his power to just never, ever throw one, including just throwing the ball away all the time. And then the other was just Butterfingers. Like, there were just more fumbles. It's just the farther back you go in time, it's just the more fumbles there are. I don't know why.
That's a glove point.
That is. Some of it may be replay. Some of it may be the plays that were called fumbles. In the modern game, we would not call them fumbles because there'd be replay and you'd see that a guy's knee was down or something. But there's no question that when you go back in time, there's more and more like you'd be surprised how much like Eric Dickerson fumbled in the early 80s, just like a lot.
We didn't have movies yet where high school coaches forced their star player to walk around with a football all the time and like take it to bed, and we just didn't respect ball security. The 79 Steelers, I mean, in the pantheon of the all-time great teams, had 60 turnovers, including playoffs. 60.
It's crazy, right? Yep. It's crazy, yeah. Dickerson, in the season he set the rushing record, had like 13 fumbles.
Do you take, like I do, a perverse sort of pleasure in this? That like it's not that long. It's color TV. It's not that long ago, really, that we had just such a completely different, understanding or whatever it was.
My perverse pleasure is going back and watching videos, especially when someone taped it off of TV. When you get into the 80s and they're taped off TV and you get commercials. Oh God. Oh. I was just seeing an 88 Vikings-Cowboys game on YouTube that was taped off a station in Buffalo, by the way.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Don't know what that was from, but if anybody here wants to see ads for old Buffalo businesses, search YouTube for the Cowboys-Vikings game from 1988. There are some amazing local Buffalo ads because it was an ESPN broadcast with local cable ads.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
There's like some car detailing place where they rap It's amazing, amazing. I wish I remember the name of the place because you'll have listeners who will remember this place. Like, it's awesome.
We don't even know if it's not still around. I guess I want to find this out.
Right.
Someone told me it's not still around. Someone told me the place isn't around.
So it's safe to rip it. Now every ad is insurance or credit cards or drugs.
Drugs.
Pharmaceuticals. Or gambling. Right?
In the 70s, it's cars and cigarettes. And beer. Cars, cigarettes.
And in movies occasionally, there's a lot of ads because it's a cable, right? It's a cable broadcast. There's a lot of ads for Cinemax telling you just how much choice they had, how many different movies Cinemax. Now you have streaming with like a zillion movies at your fingertips.
Yeah, I love this too. All right. Yeah, 70s and 80s are different from each other in this area. All right, Aaron, the Almanac. How can people get it?
Yeah, if you want to do an early order of the PDF version, you can't do an early order of the print version, unfortunately, but PDF version. Just go to ftnfantasy.com/almanac, and if you pre-order, you'll get $5 off. Comes out, I think, like July 8th we're shooting for, something like that.
And then maybe I'll just throw in an extra 10% off that detailing place, if you can find it. If it's still open, we give you a deal over there, too. Thank you, Aaron. Great job.
Good talking, man.
Good talking to you guys.
Aaron Schatz. Our 10,000th show, his 150th appearance. I'm saying.
Oh, today was 10th. I
know.
All right.
No fanfare. It's kind of what we're used to. Sal Capaccio coming up next here on WGR.
Carolina, Vegas does lead that series 1-0. Puck drop is at 8 o'clock, but you can listen to the game tonight right here on WGR with coverage beginning a little bit earlier at 7:30. But there is big news in the NHL. Elliot Friedman was first to report that Red Wings center Dylan Larkin has requested a trade from Detroit after 11 seasons with the team. In the NFL, more extensions coming down the line. Packers locking in wide receiver Christian Watson to a 4-year, $110.5 million deal. That extension does include $31 million as a signing bonus. Free agent corner L'Jarius Sneed is visiting the Chiefs today, the team he was with from 2020 until 2023. And Lions rookie wide receiver Kendrick Law was confirmed to have torn his ACL at practice earlier this week. And do stay tuned. We'll get more on the NFL. Sal Capaccio joining the show next. While in baseball, Bison's on the road versus Worcester. First pitch tonight at 6:05. That game can be heard on our sister station, The Bet 1520. And in the majors, the Yankees took down Cleveland earlier today 2-1. And coming up at 7:15, the Jays, they are at Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Let's spend a few minutes with Sal Capaccio. Bills have been practicing. They have another week of it next week, the mandatory stuff, the real thing, Bulldog, you like to call it.
Yeah.
So we don't want to forget about that. The preseason schedule is out. Sal, yesterday when you and I were speaking, you made a reference. I asked you maybe about like the Bills having a joint practice, and you mentioned Cleveland. And then it was like later yesterday where I saw the schedule. Had that been out before the 3 games and start times and all that?
I think
we
it's been out
knew
for a
that.
while, yeah.
Okay, we knew that, Sal.
The Bills had, not every team. That's why the NFL kind of released it all. But we knew the Bills the day of the schedule release. They had their 3 preseason games set already.
When is it not too early to talk, Bulldog, about whether Allen should play at all? When are we going to have that? Should we put that on the calendar at some point? Does he take a snap?
It'll just happen.
New stadium?
It'll just happen. Oh, does he need to learn how the footing is?
Does he have to take the first snap at
It's
the
grass.
It sounds like you brought me on for this.
Well, sorry, Sal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, too.
But it is going to be a talking point, right? I mean, people will wonder, should he take snaps in the new stadium to get used to the new stadium? I mean, the surroundings, the environment. I don't know. Some people believe in that, some people don't, right? But I think it's going to be a talking point on top of the fact that there's going to be people inside that stadium for a preseason game who probably won't be able to go to a regular season game, and those people get to see him. So the things that matter or don't matter are different to people.
Yeah.
How do you think you'll come down on that?
I don't need him to play at all.
Ever.
I think football's football to me. I mean, is there a benefit of maybe getting a couple reps in the stadium? Sure. I think the benefits would be greatly outweighed by the risks.
Yeah. What have you ever heard of, like the batter's eye in baseball?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think about Marty Baron in Pittsburgh, like the Civic Arena. Like I think he has said many times he had just a terrible time in that arena, and his numbers I think kind of prove it. Is there anything like that for a quarterback in football, like the backdrop, anything at all that could be? I'm guessing probably no, right?
I think they're different stadiums. I think Jerry Jones, Jerry World is a great example. You guys have seen the sun shots that come through there at certain times of the year. So I think that can definitely matter. I don't know about, like, just in general, if a quarterback would tell you that. I think it's more on the wide receivers. I think the sun, things like that come into play, but different times a year. I don't think that would be the case with a quarterback in most stadiums, other than, like I said, the sun probably matters.
That's right. They're not
how it's designed.
That's right. The quarterback isn't tracking the ball. The receiver's the one who's tracking the ball.
Sal mentions Dallas. I just think of C.D. Lamb, who makes no secret about throwing his arms up in the air when they can't see the ball. Like, thanks, Dak. Really, just great plan, great stadium. He just can look so miserable.
Right.
Yeah, we as a Syracuse basketball fan, it's always a talking point about teams that come into the Dome. It's so cavernous compared to where they normally shoot in a regular gymnasium, so to speak, or arena. And sometimes that can really mess you up. But actually, like sometimes they say it and then the guys shoot great, so maybe it doesn't matter. But I do think it is different, right, for every person.
So the practice schedule here, Sal, we've got today, and I'm guessing like there was no access today, and then next week, and then are we done for a while after next week?
Yeah, done for quite a while, actually. You go from June 11th is the last mandatory minicamp date, so I believe they probably did stuff today, but there was nothing, for the media. And then next week, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all with media. I'll be out there every day. Mandatory. Players must be there or they'll be fined, or better have a really good reason and be excused. And then if they do go all 3 days, which as you guys know, in the past, it's happened where a team does really, they work hard for 2 days and the coach goes and gives you guys, the last day off. Who knows if that'll happen this year? I don't know. I'm planning on being there for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
From June 11th, then they'll break, and they do not return until they report to training camp on July 28th. That is quite a while, actually.
Right.
And the calendar is just late this year, right? Everything's late. It's the latest Labor Day you can have, so therefore it's the latest start of the regular season, so therefore it's the latest start of training camp.
Latest Memorial Day, latest Labor Day. I wonder if that correlates.
So you've got these 3 more practices, all of which you're saying you'll be able to see, and I assume talk to people involved afterward, as opposed to just the once a week. But what would you say so far? I don't know. What have you learned? I know when we first started, you pointed out how the podium was different. There's a lectern now and not a table. I don't know, like, what else have you observed in a macro sense here, or micro if you want? Like, just how things are different now that it's Joe Brady at the helm and Jim Leonard on defense. I don't know. What have you learned through these weeks of OTAs?
Yeah, and when I say this, I don't want it to sound like there wasn't like energy or competition in previous regimes, Sean McDermott's or whoever. But I do think there's a noticeable energy, and I do think there's a noticeable competitiveness that's going on right now at OTAs. And that means from 11-on-11 to 7-on-7 to even like having relay races, right? Like they're competing. They want competitors. They want to compete, and they want to build that culture very early of competing. And they're not afraid to shy away from guys, as we know, that might have a little edge to them to help with that competitive juice. And that's a CJ Gardner-Johnson that's drafting an IGB. It's the first thing that Jim Leonard said about him. What are your impressions? Competitiveness. He's a competitor. He just wants to play and be out there. And, I think that's something that you just take away from when you go out to practice, you see that happening. And I think that's very intentional. They want to make sure that everybody, we're going out here to compete, and we're trying to, put our best foot forward right away. And yes, there are jobs out here, but this isn't going to be, hey, Joe Brady's taking over and he's rah-rah and, we're just going to have relationships. That's you're trying to play football to the highest level and compete while you're at it, and we want dogs out here, and they call it Bills Red now. Like, that's the thing. There used to be not that it's gone away, but Bills Blue is like the Bills DNA, they call it, right? Which is your character. And that's, I'm sure, still there. But now they have something called Bills Red, and that is literally like the type of mentality and dog that they want in guys, and that's the edge of competitiveness.
Is this all to imply that there was a little bit too little dog in the Bills when they were only blue? Do you think maybe Brady is trying to get that point across? Not trying to start
maybe,
anything.
Mike. I struggle with this because I think there's been a little too much about like, Sean McDermott wouldn't have these guys in. Sean McDermott, I mean, Stephon Diggs was a guy that you had to handle a little bit, right? But who else? I mean, he had Michael Hoyt on the team. Michael Hoyt's a little bit like that. What remember the wrestler that came in, right? Stevenson. He had a couple issues in his background, right? Like, I don't think Sean McDermott just did not have guys that didn't have any of that in them at all. I think that we've made too much about that. But I do think that under Joe Brady and now in Brandon Beane, remember, there's a new structure now too, right? It's Joe Brady reports to Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane is the guy basically picking the players. I'm sure Joe Brady has an input, but it is now more of a, I guess you'd say,
traditional structure.
Yes, exactly. And I do think it's intentional to make sure they know, hey, we're not shy about getting guys like this. Like, we don't want to hear about, well, you only want these type of players. We want guys who, you want to be good in the community, and you want to be guys that we can count on character-wise, but you got a little edge to you. That's okay, and we're willing to take that now.
By the way, earlier I misspoke. Earliest possible Memorial Day than
Yes.
latest possible Labor Day. Quickly, a couple more things. Igbinosa in the corner. You mentioned him already. We just talked to Aaron Schatz, and one paragraph in a long article, all encompassing about the league and the upcoming season, mentions Igbinosa, IGB, and Hairston. And what level of competition do you think there is here? Second round pick.
I think there's competition, but would we see the actual, would we see that play out on the field in some way, like snap counts? I wouldn't be stunned if by, middle of the season something like that happens, but I like what I've seen from Max Harrison in OTAs, first of all, and I think the team likes him. I don't think it'd be because Max Harrison isn't doing the job. I think it might just because if that happens, if that happens to me, it's because IGB's forcing it to happen, not because Max Harrison had some sort of downfall. I mean, I believe Jim Leonard when he said to us last week, he liked Max Harrison coming out. It's not an indictment on him. They drafted IGB, but they needed more there. They've had injuries there, and he brings something a little different to that room. Okay, well, let's add that up now. Does that mean maybe as the season goes on and they start to see different personnel packages and things they want to go against, that maybe there's some sort of matchup they like, or this kid just makes a couple plays when he's on the field and you say you got to get him out there somehow? So we've seen this team through a different head coach, I understand, rotate outside corners. I think it could happen at some point.
Sure. Wasn't that the case with Benford and Elam their rookie year? That was it was kind of a timeshare over there. I mean, with as uneven as Hairston's rookie year was, largely because of injury, it's not like he's got a massive head start on IGB either.
Nope.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that maybe even be a timeshare even sooner than you're suggesting.
Yeah, and it all might come down to making that Max Harrison stays on the field too, because he did have injuries last year, not just the knee injury to start the year. But then later, I believe there might have been concussion in there, and then there was the ankle at the end of the year. Yeah. Remember in the Jets game when he was out on the field late and he rolled the ankle and he didn't play in the playoffs? There were some injuries that added up.
Before you go, you did some research on quarterbacks and Hall of Fame candidacy from a tweet of yours today.
Yep.
I was surprised Allen was as low as he was on that list. It's interesting that Jim Kelly, who is in the Hall of Fame, was at the bottom behind quarterbacks, including Kemp and LaMonica, by the way. I mean, it's just one particular statistical analysis. What did you take from it?
It's Pro Football Reference, and they do the Hall of Fame monitor. I think because of these same points that you've said, they weigh a little more heavily maybe than others would, Super Bowls and All-Pros. Because, Lamar Jackson is a good, 7-8 spots ahead of Josh Allen, I think, something like that, maybe 10 spots, actually, 10 spots ahead of Josh Allen, and he's got the extra, the MVP and the All-Pro honor, or whatever, how I think it's the MVP, but those kinds of things have mattered, and that's why Jim Kelly actually, I think Jim Kelly has the lowest number of all of the numbers on the monitor of anybody actually in the Hall of Fame at the position.
Jackson has 3 first-team All-Pro
there, so
honors, and Allen doesn't have any, but won the MVP in his year anyway. Very good. Thanks for your time, Sal, as always.
You got it, guys.
It's our Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Do you miss arguing about the Hall of Fame? Because we almost never do it anymore.
Yeah, no.
You don't miss it? You don't turn to other outlets to hear people argue about the Hall of Fame? You're so done with it.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah.
One thing it has meant for me
at all anymore
is that I don't even know if I know who's in. There are guys that their whole career just came and went while I was sitting here.
Yeah.
And, they're in the Hall of Fame? I missed that.
Right.
Any sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I can't remember. I pay so little. Stop bragging about things I don't pay attention to. But I'm so unplugged from it that I heard somebody's name the other day and Hall of Famer was attached to it. And I was just like, I guess I missed that year.
Yeah.
I missed that enshrinement, apparently.
Yeah, I can relate. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR. No pun intended. How are you today? Are you good?
I'm good. Yeah, I feel
it's out there. It's in the space.
I feel almost just about as normal as ever. Yeah, I feel
really?
fine. Yeah.
I think
last night was rough. I had to take 3 pills at 7:00 last night, and then I had dinner, and that didn't go great.
Why?
That's just the prep called for that.
3 pills and then dinner?
Well, it said take the pills at 7 p.m. I didn't eat, the second I walked in the door. So I took the pills and then had some dinner. And the first couple hours of bedtime were a little unruly, but things simmered down, and I've been great ever since. So I'm all good. But in an hour, I start drinking the stuff. So
that ought to be good.
We'll see what happens. The last time I did this, there was no trouble at all. So I don't.
That was a long time ago.
I'm old enough to have done this. This is my third. I'm having a colonoscopy tomorrow. Hey, Men's Health. It's my third one. So the first one I had is almost 10 years ago. I remember being in here.
See, I'm sorry that I don't.
Starting the stuff, and I don't think I had to leave early, but like when we were done, I had to really get home fast. Because it was just, I was the medicine was taking effect, or the plan was taking effect. I think they've, in the 10 years that have passed since then, saw the
technology.
The prep
improved.
is not. It's more. It's more maybe last night was it's more gradual.
I don't know if I believe this
because I did this 3 years ago. It led to me actually. Well, it's not why I ended up getting sick, but I got sick before I could have a surgery that was discovered that I needed it during a colonoscopy 3 years ago. And I worked the same sort of thing. 6 a.m. I'm going, the next day, and we did the whole show together, and there was no trouble. So I'm not anticipating any trouble. I think I'll be fine.
You're 10 years older.
Well, there is that, sure.
This show really has never. It's fine if I make a hee-haw reference and make a joke about how the show has never sounded older. This is the oldest the show has ever sounded. Colonoscopy talk.
Yeah.
This is really the low. This is it. But I think inside baseball, I think maybe we're sort of expected to talk like this. Like it's not.
Well, I mean,
they know out there we're not kids. Like these people are not expecting us to talk about. Well, this would not work either as a reference. I was going to say Fortnite. That's even like how many years ago was Fortnite?
Right.
15?
Is Minecraft a little better?
Is
that more contemporary?
I don't know. Hunger Games? I mean, there's a certain expectation there in this, in this room.
TikTok. We're not supposed.
TikTok is not even.
We're not supposed to be talking about TikTok.
No, that's not even current either anymore. This will be short. One little postscript on the Hall of Fame stuff we were talking about. I have a pet peeve. Joe Buck is responsible for it.
Okay.
But who's the baseball guy? Davis? Joe Davis?
Yep.
And then even somebody I was watching at the French Open, when their analyst is in the Hall of Fame, just Joe Buck.
Sure. Hall of Fame. He's the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman.
He's the Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. As if there were only one.
Okay.
It's not enough to just call him Hall of Famer Troy Aikman or Hall of Famer John Smoltz or Hall of Famer Lindsay Davenport. Apparently not. Apparently now you have to say they are the Hall of Famer, which we don't need. It's like you're basically kind of trying to say they're the best ever. And they're not. I mean, they're in the Hall of Fame. It's great. That should be good enough. Yeah. They're not the Hall of Famer. Who started this? Joe Buck started this.
I think Joe Buck started this.
He'll give a little thumb to point to him.
Let me see if I can defend, because I've become a fan of Joe Buck. And I guess to an extent, Aikman. Aikman doesn't drive me crazy like he drives you. He never really has.
Think about it.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
I'll try. It's just that amongst the two of us, he's the Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Is Dylan Larkin being traded? We'll discuss.
Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Carolina. Vegas does lead that series 1-0, and puck drop is at 8 o'clock tonight. But you can listen to the game right here on WGR with coverage beginning a half hour before that at 7:30. But some pretty big news in the NHL today. Elliot Friedman was first to report that Red Wings center Dylan Larkin has requested a trade from Detroit after 11 seasons with the team. In the NFL, we got more extensions coming down the line. Packers locking in wide receiver Christian Watson to a 4-year, $110.5 million deal. That extension does include $31 million as a signing bonus. Free agent corner L'Jarius Sneed is visiting with the Chiefs today, the team he was with from 2020 until 2023. And Lions rookie wide receiver Kendrick Law was confirmed to have torn his ACL at practice earlier this week. And then in baseball, Bison's on the road versus Worcester. First pitch tonight at 6:05. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, the Yankees earlier today took down Cleveland 2-1. And coming up at 7:15, the Jays. They are at Atlanta versus the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Raisin Bran? You got to put Raisin Bran up there. Everybody knows it.
It's Mike Schopp.
Listen, get your own stupid old dying person team and choose your own cereals.
And the Bulldog.
I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves.
That cereal is soggy. You reach into the fridge for the milk and open the lid on the milk to pour it in there, and that crap is already soggy.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds.
That's a problem. That's a problem for a cereal. I
huge
think.
problem.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
You know, I haven't eaten Raisin Bran in, I think it's safe to say, decades.
Good.
But I do like one thing about it. There's like that little very, very thin coating of sugar on the raisins, right? You can see it. I respect that.
Don't care.
So
I hate raisins. I do not like. I will eat raisins in like a cinnamon raisin context is maybe the only way I can handle raisins. A cinnamon raisin bagel will work for me. If we've got like coffee cake, again, cinnamony, and there's okay, I can live with that. But like as a snack, as a compliment to a soggy ass bowl of cereal, get out of here. I got no time for it.
Cinnamon raisin context.
Yep.
Can that be a
cinnamon raisin context?
Can that be pluralized? Can that work? Everybody.
So I hear you on the sugar. Like that could be a, but I need the bagel. I can't.
I mean, I'm not buying it. I don't have a problem.
Yep.
Didn't I have a raisinette thing once that I was blamed for?
Raisinettes. I did the Junior Mints.
Junior Mints. But at the movies, I would buy Raisinettes would be the choice. Over Goobers. Over Junior Mints.
Choose the worst.
Over popcorn. Over peanuts. What else is in there? The Twizzlers. Oh my God! Twizzlers.
I would eat a 10-gallon drum of Junior Mints, which I hate, before I would buy a box of Raisinets.
803. A 10-gallon drum of
10-gallon
Junior Mints. How long would that take?
I could at least fight through it. I mean, with raisins. Oh, God.
It's like you have to. It's a radio promotion. You're on a billboard with a cot. He's up there. What's he doing up there? He's eating a 10-gallon drum of Raisinets to prove a point.
Junior Mints. Raisinets. To prove how much better they are than Raisinets.
Also, there was Snow Caps.
I remember the Snow Caps. I had a friend that loved to put the Snow Caps into the bucket of popcorn. Like get the big bucket of hot buttered popcorn.
That's interesting.
Get the box of Snow Caps.
Dump them in,
and then dump the Snow Caps in,
and just shake it,
and just
mix it up.
Yeah, she was a huge fan of that.
What does that work?
I don't know. I remember trying it and just being like, it tastes like snow caps and popcorn.
Popcorn.
Pretty much,
The occasional snow cap.
It did not sell me. I've never perpetrated the act on my own. But I went to a couple of movies with this woman when we were in college.
Didn't catch on.
She
really.
liked this.
You didn't help.
As far as I know, she's still out there doing it. I don't know.
You didn't help make it popular. Apparently.
No, I didn't. I did not push the snow caps popcorn agenda that she
Snow
seemed
pop.
to be
Snow pops.
fond of.
I might want to get back to this someday. Dylan Larkin.
That's a name.
So, yeah, tell me. Like, is that should we get serious here? Is he somebody that the Sabres could make room for, that they would can't afford, and all of it? Am I trading one of my kids to? I have to, right?
Yeah, probably. You're not going to get your hands on a number one center type player. This guy, Robert Thomas. I haven't plumbed the depth chart far enough to know if. In fact, we just found out about Larkin today. He's asked for a trade from the Red Wings, being widely reported now. Elliot Friedman first had that a little bit earlier. Yeah, you're going to have to. I don't see a way around it. If you want to make that kind of trade, I think you're going to have to divest yourself of one of the guys. There's other trades you can make that maybe fall short of that threshold. But I think a number one center, make it $8 million or thereabouts, like this guy or Thomas, is going to cost you Ostlund or Helenius, I think, if you want to do it.
Do you have his contract up?
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
It is through 2031, $8.7 million.
So I get 5 seasons. Why does he want to be traded? Because they don't win?
He's 29, by the way. He'll be 30 in July. So he'll be 30. He's Tuck for all intents and purposes, age-wise.
Okay.
He's just done. I just saw a note from Greg Wyshynski. I don't know if it was accompanied by a story pointing out. Now it's 10 years since they've been in the playoffs. Now the Red Wings that got to 10 this year. I believe that's right. He has, because of that, played more games in 11 seasons in the NHL in the Winter Olympics than he has in the playoffs.
Ooh.
He's played 6 Winter Olympic games
this year,
and only 5 playoff games.
All as a 19-year-old.
So he's just the eyes are playing. I guess he's saying check please. Like he reached this is futile, and I want to go try and do this somewhere else. So I don't know. In division, I don't know how realistic that is. Like that he's got to know he's got control. If he wanted to come here, that would give you an opportunity to maybe even avoid having to pay one of the top tier kids, because usually if a guy is driving the bus on something like this, it limits the competition. You can only trade him to certain places, and so that usually mitigates the return to some extent.
Do you have that too? Spot Track would have that too. Not the list of teams.
Do I have what?
How many?
Oh.
Does he have a list of teams he would say yes to or would not say yes to?
I think let me see if it's.
They usually have that on there too.
That's not where I am. I just Googled his contract.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. No trade clause, years 23 through 27. So that's still in effect according to Spot Track. It shifts to a 10-team no trade list, 2028 through 2030.
Sounds to me like then he has total control.
So
over
right
it.
now he has control.
He could say no to anything.
He can say no to anything. And he can also drive where he wants to go. The immediate speculation right out of the box, guess what?
Toronto.
Well, no, even better.
Vegas.
He's buddies with Eichel. They're the Rams. Vegas. They're in on everything. So maybe he'd love that idea. And if he does, then you're in the driver's seat as the team trying to negotiate the trade.
I want to talk more about this, and I want to make a point about, quote, the kids, whoever you want to put on that list. Helenius, Ostlund, Kulik, Benson, like that. Is there anybody else I need? You've got we all know. We've got a few guys here that, to varying degrees, have been impressive or even outstanding, and I want to get back to like the idea of trading one of them for a big shot. Can I just say, though, about Vegas? I wanted to do this yesterday, and then the Coach of the Year thing happened, and I ended up just there the whole day.
Yeah.
I guess I just can't. I told you this. The reason I end up rooting against them in this series is because of the coaching change they made. And I'm not, proud of that. I'm not even sure I could really, if pressed, defend it that well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so ruthless. It just doesn't sit well, And this isn't even about that it's Tortorella. I don't have a Tortorella problem. There are times when he's been a real jerk.
Sure.
So have I. I don't really have – that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
The point is you go into a season with a guy, you get almost to the end, and they're in the playoffs. I mean, they were going to the playoffs. They didn't have a great season, but they were going to make it. And then you can them with 8 games to go. It just doesn't – it's also not even about, but it doesn't help that they won't let him talk to anybody, Cassidy.
Well, that's the part that really bothers me. I don't have as much of a problem with. I agree it's ruthless, but this is the big leagues.
That's allowed.
Like you
okay.
should be ruthless. If you're the GM, and I don't know how bad it got, but I've done some reading. Like that team was just dead. They didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in him, and there were some personality things that maybe crossed the line. I don't know, how much we'll ever find out about it, but that he'd entirely lost the team. And you're the GM, and Mark Stone comes to you and tells you that, or Jack Eichel, or Shea Theodore, or whoever, some respected veteran that won the cup 2 years ago for you, comes to you and says, dude, I don't really call the GM dude, but you get the point. We got a problem. And I really think we got a lot of good players here, and we could still really do something, but it's not going to happen with.
And
this
you
guy.
think that happened?
Yeah, I'm getting the impression that that's what happened.
Okay.
Yes, it was ruthless. Yes, it was 8 games left, and everything. But if you've blown it, if you've lost your team, and it took until April 4th or whatever date they made that move for you to realize it, I think shame on you if you don't make a move. I mean, you needed to do something and you did it, and you're getting paid off. So I don't know. I think the part about them not allowing him to look for work is really obnoxious and offensive to me. Firing a guy, I don't know, it's big boy sports. You're not getting it done. We got a chance to do something good here, and I'm going to try to fix it. And so you threw a dart, and it worked.
That's fine. I kind of said, I think I really don't want to beat on that.
Yeah.
I know. I don't like it, but I certainly get it. It's not a move I would ever hope. This has probably happened over the years. Should we have been sitting here talking about they need to make a coaching change? It just seems a little bit crazy, but I'm not sure I'm right. I mean, what can you say about Vegas? It's working. They saved their season. That's what we're all going to say. We don't know that it wouldn't have happened without this change, but I mean, they went from very much a middling team to they're in the lead in the finals,
sweeping Colorado.
That's right. Along the way,
where they landed. Yeah.
So I mean, it's shocking when it happens. It happens in hockey. It really doesn't happen anywhere else.
Late in the year like that, no, that's right. It's not
NBA.
Very uncommon in the NHL. In fact, it happened twice in the NHL this year. The Islanders did it pretty late, not as late as Vegas, but it was very late when they did it, and it didn't work. And then you got to go back. I think when the move happened with the Islanders, the Robbie Ftorek with the Devils was referenced, and that was the early 2000s, I think.
And they won the cup. Robinson
stepped in again. 8 or 9 games left. Sort of the same script that Vegas is, I guess, hoping to follow here.
I guess
1 game up in the final.
I was just thinking about that from a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
Would that have been? That would never have been something that I would have thought to advocate for.
I do think them not allowing Cassidy to interview sort of can get you to circle back like you are to whether just how ethical it was to do it in the first place. Whereas I think if they were letting him talk and Edmonton had already hired him, I don't know that you'd feel. I don't need to speak for you, but I don't know that you'd feel as bad about it. But right now, they fired him. They're on this great run, and they won't even let him look for work. which, I mean, they got to pay him. So, I mean, there is that. I mean, he is under, I guess, right? Like, he's still there.
He has a non-compete. So
right.
He's there. They have his rights.
Yeah. So they're not doing anything illegal, but it just feels wrong. And then that could get you to circle back all the way to, like, inception. Like, should you have done this or not?
Well, the comp, if you will, isn't so much Lindy Ruff. They didn't stumble down the stretch anyway, so there was no there.
Mm-hmm.
It's McDermott, because you and I felt that when he was fired, they knew it was going to happen. That whenever they were going to lose, I think. I mean, maybe if they go to the Super Bowl and lose, it's different. But I think it was the plan.
Yeah, my belief is that Bean sort of laid the groundwork through the year. And I think you look back at certain things that were said and written, it just sort of looks like there's a trail of breadcrumbs there.
So,
to some extent,
he's not calling plays on offense. He's sort of calling in and out, right, defensively, but they had somebody else who was capable of doing it. The question can be asked, like, whether they should have done it a month earlier.
Right.
You know, like that's what the Golden Knights did.
Yeah, right.
When they're coming up on the playoffs, the Bills lose that game to Philadelphia last year at Christmas and fall to 11-5. We know they're going to the playoffs. We also know at that point they can't win the AFC East. It's all set up. Well, I mean, should you and I have been talking about firing him then? Like, it's just, it's a different sport still.
Yeah.
If they knew they were going to do it, could they have gotten something more? It's just a hockey thing. Could they have gotten something more out of the players by jolting them with that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I want the jolt might have blown up in their faces. Like, I don't know. Like, I
never know.
I felt like the emotion, this is all part of the same premise. Like, the emotion that Terry Pagula talked about, and that many people themselves also witnessed, Josh Allen displaying. I mean, we heard his post-game news conference. He could barely utter words. He was so upset. I felt at the time that was a clue that like people around within the team knew what could happen. So if they had done it a month earlier, I just think a lot of guys would have been like, you didn't even give us a chance. You didn't give him a chance to, like, get this right this year. And so I don't know if that would have it's
that's something that could have been said about Vegas.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, again, not if you know, and again, I'm just going off things I've read, but if you know the team is dead in the water, then then you feel a compulsion to act. I doubt that players on the team, after they lost to the Eagles, thought we're dead in the water. Like, we don't have it. We're not going anywhere. I bet even more so maybe the opposite. Like, we know that maybe this coach isn't going to last forever, and we want to get somewhere with him for him. But I don't have to be right about any of that. But I feel pretty comfortable about the Vegas part of that, though. That they knew, this was not he lost it.
There are, just to wrap this up, there are, as we know well, fans who will always want the current coach fired, and whenever the season ends is when that heats up. Like, for McDermott, it was like kind of pretty much every year, at least for the last 5. After 13 seconds, like, you guys, we have to do this. And at the beginning of that was pretty crazy to me. By the end of it, it was less crazy. Still, it doesn't come up until the season is over, though. As much of a lunatic fringe section of the fan base that it might be, sometimes I don't ever hear it during the season. At least during these seasons where they're, winning double-digit games every year. And while there are a couple of screwy losses, we really don't usually talk about a move before the season is over. It'll come up that they should do it when the season is over.
Right.
Enough. They're never going to win.
Yeah, good teams don't fire their coach in season. It's teams that have won 3 games that fire their coach at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever.
In football.
In football, right. In hockey, yeah. I mean, we've got ample evidence again. The Islanders were, if not in a playoff spot, very close to one. They maybe had squandered a playoff spot when they made their move, hoping to try to claw their way back in.
They were fading.
Yeah. And same, Vegas was just, maybe they felt they were they were just didn't have a pulse anymore. And I mean, everything changed.
Vegas wasn't good. The Islanders were fading, and they were falling out of the race. Vegas was never falling out of the race, and they were still going to get to play Utah and Anaheim and these teams in the playoffs that, I mean, they did beat them, but they had a pretty nice little path. And I don't know. We can't know that they wouldn't have won. But nobody will tell you that this didn't work.
Right, they've lost 5 games.
They're winning the finals
since Tortorella took over. Like four in the regular season, and I think only 1 so far in the playoffs. Or Anaheim?
They lost.
Anaheim went they went 6 games. Yeah.
Tortorella lost 1 regular season game in overtime.
Okay.
They were 7-0-1, I believe.
Oh, okay.
In the regular season under him.
All right, and then they've lost a couple of games.
I guess they could have not made it. It wasn't.
That whole mix out there was kind of a jumble.
Seattle.
Yeah.
There was a chance. They were not clinched when they did it.
That's right.
All right. Here's Jim with us. Hi, Jim.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Hey. I've got a solution for signing Alex Tuck. I think idealistically, everybody wants Alex Tuck to stay in Buffalo if we can make it work with the money, and that includes Alex Tuck. So I figured out he'd probably be happy to sign for 11. And if he goes free agent, the most anybody can sign him for is 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if he got 11 for 7 years, that's 77. Now, the way I figure it is we could give him a different salary every year with it, sliding down towards the end. And it would still come out to 76 over 8 years because we can offer him 8. So we first year give him 10, then 11, then 12, because then Skinner's going to come off the books and the salary cap's going to go up, and then go down to 10, 9, 8, 8, 8. And that would put him at 76, would be just same amount that anybody else could pay him.
The eighth year is a huge factor. However you want to structure the contract, very much in vogue now in the league is money paid out July 1 or thereabouts every year in the form of a bonus. And like that's basically your salary for the year. So you can structure it any way you want year to year, like you're saying, Jim. But the way for bookkeeping purposes it happens, it's the annual average value on the cap every year is the same. So however you divvy up year 1 versus year 3 versus year 8 is irrelevant to what it looks like on the salary cap. On the salary cap, it's going to be the average annual value of whatever you agreed to him for 8 years.
Okay, but if the salary cap keeps going up like it has been, like they're expecting it to, 8 in the final couple of years might be nothing. That might be like Tage Thompson's contract is now.
Oh, sure, but it won't be. It's never going to be 8. Like eight for 8 is $64 million. Like you're not getting there. But no, I mean the 8th year. If the point is the 8th year is an opportunity for you to get there on a lower AAV, I mean absolutely. There's no to me signing Alex Tuck if it's not an 8-year deal here. It's assuming he wants the pot of money to be the pot of money, right? Whatever he's looking for, if LA or Seattle or someone else wants to give him, like you're saying, 11 for 7, you can exceed that or match it with an 8th year.
But that money would have to be commensurate, or else what's the advantage to him? What's the year worth if I'm not making more money by signing for the extra year? It would have to be.
That's right.
I'm not taking 8 for 77 versus over 7 for 77 because there will be an 8th year if I'm not injured or retired, and that would be some extra $1 million that would. So it can't just be like you're just coming under it by adding a year to it. No, you have to do the opposite. You have to be 8 for 88 or something like that, right? I mean, that's otherwise why would he find it appealing?
Because in the end you're getting the same amount of money It's just you're donating a year basically. That's
I don't want to do that if I'm the player.
I not everyone wants to, but that's where like the hometown discount comes into play. Like, do you want to be here? Do you want your AAV to be X? Does that matter more, or does getting $80 million over the life of this contract matter more?
Okay. Well, I've got one of these coming up, and if they offer me the same amount of money, but one is for 3 years and one is for 4, I'm taking the one for 3.
Yep.
Because it's less work. Is that out of line to use a personal example? Thank you, Jim. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Night in Carolina, Vegas does lead the series 1-0, and puck drop is at 8 o'clock. But coverage right here on WGR, where you can listen to the entire game, does begin at 7:30. And it's potentially big offseason news in hockey. Elliot Friedman was first to report, and now multiple outlets are reporting that Red Wings center Dylan Larkin has requested a trade from Detroit after 11 seasons with the team. Over in the NFL, more extensions are coming down the line. Packers locking in wide receiver Christian Watson to a 4-year, $110.5 million deal. That extension does include $31 million as a signing bonus. Free agent corner L'Jarius Sneed is visiting with the Chiefs today, a team he was with from 2020 until 2023. And Lions rookie wide receiver Kendrick Law was confirmed to have torn his ACL at practice earlier this week. Then over in baseball, Bison's on the road versus Worcester. First pitch tonight at 6:05. That game can be heard on our sister station, the Bet 1520. And in the majors, some early afternoon action today. The Yankees did take down Cleveland 2-1. And coming up at 7:15, the Jays, they are at Atlanta versus the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I liken him a lot to William Karlsson. Like, if he was sitting there in that spot behind Jack Eichel, I mean, he'd be unbelievable. It'd be a great role for him. He can be a 1, but I think he's best suited as a 2. I just think it's a hard trade for the Red Wings to make. And at the end of the day, he is under contract. They do not have to trade him. Now, it could get nasty, sticky, but they do not have to trade him if they don't find a deal that works for them. And because he has that no-move protection, he can kind of dictate, okay, I don't want to go here. I want to go here. Make that happen. So I think this is going to be very interesting to follow over the next several weeks, months, maybe well into the year.
E.J. Redick. Red Wings star Dylan Larkin reportedly wants out of Detroit. Could the Sabres be engaged with the Red Wings on this? How much are we a destination at this point? Who would have to go? That's the part that I don't like about this. And that's how trades work. I mean, you don't get somebody for nothing.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess I feel like I've sounded this way about other things too lately, and I'm not sure what it says about me. I kind of want to just run it back. And I can't assume that I have Tuck for that, in which case, hopefully I would have somebody else that's expensive instead, somebody good. But I want to hold tight to my young core that did so well, and I appreciate that you don't want to overdo that, and that the Sabres have been a lot like that over the years, but it feels like a really fun, exciting time. Well, it is for them. And if somebody from that short list of 20-year-olds ends up being traded, I don't know. I don't know if that I'm going to like it. I kind of want to see them, get into their careers here and see where it takes me. But I know that's kind of standing pat, and like your points about how many points Benson had in the regular season, or we don't know what Helen Hughes really is. These guys, I respect that.
Yeah, I'm torn. I mean, to me, it's I guess Kulich should be included. He's a little older. I don't know what his value is right now because he missed basically an entire year. So, I would think prospect guy, young guy ready to step in to be a regular in the NHL. Osland, Helen Hughes, and Kulich Kulich's already been in the NHL. They all have. They're ready to play regular roles. Okay. Of that group, to me, I don't want to give up any of them either. But I think I'm going to have to if I want to make the team better than it was last year. I don't think it's appropriate to just count on all of them or even one of them to carve out enough of a spot. Is one of them going to be the rookie of the year? I mean, it could happen. They should be a good team. If Helen Hughes lands on a top, one of the top lines, he could do it, I suppose. So I don't want to rule anything out, but I think you need to supplement. If you lose Tuck, you're going to need to supplement with someone who can grow a beard. And that's not even to mention what you're losing in Tuck that no forward in the organization represents, and that's size. Like, there isn't any of that up front, really. At least not coming immediately, not amongst this group we're talking about. That doesn't have to mean that they shouldn't be a part of your group, but you should find your way to someone who is, a little more up to it. Florida is going to be back. Tampa is still lurking out there. Boston played the way they played. Like, there's going to be teams that are going to try to smash you around. Boston took the Sabres to 6 games. They, to me, barely belonged on the ice with them, but their style made it a pretty even fight. So you're going to have to deal with that again moving forward. And so I'm looking at a Tuck replacement as someone who at least has some power forward in them. And these guys, as skillful and excellent as they all project to be, none of them would be described as a power forward.
Yeah, I think I'm just getting soft.
So, yeah, well, maybe. I mean, I do like the group, though. Like, whichever – if I'm driving home and the NHL draft is starting and we hear that the Sabres have made a trade, just like happened the Eichel year, and the Ryan O'Reilly trade happened right before the pick started, and we started to hear the return and it sort of came in gradually, I guarantee you get to an Ostlund or a Hellenius, it's going to sting when you hear that. Oh, man, I was really hoping I wouldn't have to trade that guy. Mm-hmm. But I think it might be necessary, and you just hope that whichever one you trade doesn't become the Rookie of the Year, and the one you keep does. And I don't know how to handicap that at this point. They're very different players, Ostlund and Hellenius, and those are the two I'm really thinking about. Like Benson, to me, Benson is not a consideration to be a part of a trade to get Robert Thomas or Dylan Larkin. Like he's established. So the Kulik level, Ostlund, Hellenius, but between Hellenius and Ostlund, I just think you've got it. Ostlund to me is like crafty, sneaky, really good at everything, sees the ice really well, but is not going to flash. Like, I don't think he makes the play that Hellenius made to win the World Championships. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not going to just off the dribble just take it to the basket and like, I scored. So they're different players, and that does not make it any easier to differentiate which one projects to be, an 80-point guy. I don't know. But one, Hellenius to me is more, he's a shooter, and there's a lot of flash and a lot of, it's kind of like, there's a style there with him. Like he to me, from the minute he got here, Owen said, this kid thinks he's good, knows he's good, acts like he's good. He's just there's a swagger there with him that makes me really like him. There's a certain kind of kid that's going to take the puck from the hash marks on the left wall and just go across the entire offensive zone and just go, I got it. Not everybody's cut out to do that.
No. Well, I won't cry if they were moved, but I would be sad. I don't know. The Bills have been so good. The Sabres have gotten good. Something's lacking in my life. I'm just mad at awards voters now.
Right.
I don't know who to be mad at. I'm just mad at broadcasters. May I? Just for a minute. So I was listening to the Yankees broadcast on my way here. It wasn't even Susan Waldman has a sponsor. There was another one. I was driving and I couldn't keep track of it. It was all so fast, like in 1 minute. And then finally she says, coming up, Dave Sims will be here. We'll paint the picture. That's sponsored by a paint company.
Yep.
They have a paint company that they call out for painting the picture of the game with words. I mean, you are really working here. And that's not unusual.
The starting pitcher must have been sponsored.
Oh, I bet the first ball is
maybe
sponsored.
That's the one you forgot.
Well, the game hadn't started yet.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. Maybe that is the one I forgot.
Yeah.
That's right. Maybe there
when
was
reading
one
the
more.
lineup and the alignment and everything, like you probably would mention who's on the mound today.
Maybe. Here's the umpire alignment, sponsored by Alignment Company. Mm-hmm. Get your tires aligned.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I mean.
Yep.
You can turn on any. It's not a Yankees point, really. Maybe they push it to the extreme.
They might be capable of selling more things than the Cincinnati Reds, but no, it's everywhere.
The first ball, the first strike, the first out, the first stolen base, the first bunt, the first.
Check my text messages and see if I've got a spot coming up this break.
I know I don't. So I took the liberty of.
I'm done for the day. I'm in the clear. All right. No, I agree. So many ads.
We'll be back to Paint the Picture with Words, which is brought to you by Paint.
Which is what we were doing anyways.
Right.
Pretty much, right.
That's all of this is.
That's the job. Yeah, that's the job.
You're not bringing me the first pitch of the players are. You're not actually bringing me the first pitch. No one. You're not responsible for that. Schlittler is responsible for that. He didn't pitch today. Who was it? Rodon today. Yankees won. Cleveland 2 hits. Come on, that's not a good day's work. Yankees won 2-1. Cleveland had 2 hits. Come on. Try a little.
Cleveland got 2 out of the 3, though, right? Did they
yes.
win the other 2? Yeah.
Cleveland won the last 2 nights. That's right. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR. Welcome back. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Let's talk to John. Hello, John.
Hello, fellas. How are you?
Real good. How are you?
Good. I'm well. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. Always a great show you fellas put on.
Thanks.
Just a comment, Bulldog, a few minutes ago, you were talking about Alex Tuck and power forward. So I did a quick search on the number of hits he had last season, and he had 82 hits. So I'm not sure if that, how they quantify hits. Personally, I don't characterize Alex Tuck as a power forward. I know he plays a two-way game, uses stick well. So if we're concerned that we may lose a guy in free agency that's a good, strong two-way power forward, I don't see Alex Tuck as that type of player. And I would not certainly trade away the three fellas that we keep talking about. I think those guys have a bright future. Anyway,
well, no, you're not going to trade all three of them, but you may have to trade one of them. And John, respectfully, I think boiling Tuck's game as a forward, as a two-way forward, down to how many hits he has is kind of silly. He's a big body, and big bodies can stand in and play in places that smaller ones can't. That's it. I don't care how many hits he throws. If he's going in with Zadorov to a corner and Helenius is going into a corner with Zadorov, I think Tuck's got a fighting chance of winning the physical battle, whether he initiates the hit or gets credit for a hit or not. Whereas if it comes down to physicality, I mean, Helenius might be crafty enough to win it anyway, or Oslin, but I think Tuck in today's game, is he Brendan Shanahan? No. But who is? So 6'4", 220, that isn't easily replaced.
Fair enough. I think I would probably not use the term power forward either, but I hear what you're saying. I mean, he's big. He's strong enough to hold up. He's not a Kachuk, though, right?
No.
Even in 2026, there are guys that I think fit the definition better.
That's right. Yeah, there's like 5 of them.
Yeah, right. Okay, thanks, John.
Sorry,
what are you drinking?
Needed a drink. Just ice water.
That's it?
Yeah.
You got your own bottle and everything over there?
Yeah, like the ice wrap went around in there.
That holds up all day?
Oh, yeah.
The ice?
Oh, yeah.
I love that idea. I got to do that.
The
technology is there.
I have one of these at home that I put like a third of it ice, the rest water, and all night I've got ice cold water if I want it.
Oh, that is very, very exciting.
I'm becoming the man baby that doesn't go anywhere without their bottle. I go golfing, bottle.
Somebody pay you for what's on it? Like are you getting residuals?
No. Extra Mile Club is a ride for Roswell thing, and my friends, this is an Uncle Ben's Remedy sticker.
You get nothing from them?
I wouldn't ask them for money. No, they're my friends. They're excellent.
I wore a certain shirt in here one day, and it was a brewery, like a local brewery, and I heard from the place because now we're on stream.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, huh. I mentioned it at the time. I got to maybe put a little bit more thought into what I wear.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to win, awards, but maybe.
Yeah.
I said at the time that one day that I mentioned it, I was wearing a T-shirt from the Maui Aquarium, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to do anything for me.
They're not going to notice. Or they might notice, but be like, hey, thanks.
Oh, that guy is wearing a Maui Aquarium shirt on the Buffalo sports station. What do we have for him?
Passes the next time he's in.
You're right.
Well, Maui.
Hey, if you ever come back, my daughter asked me. I've only been to Hawaii one time. It was 5 years ago, and it was incredible. She asked me if we're going back.
Oh yeah.
Are we going back to Hawaii anytime soon?
Soon.
Wow.
What do you think she means?
I haven't
by
even.
soon?
I don't know. Before she's grown up and out of the house.
Yeah. Right.
It would probably be that, and I haven't really thought about that. The Bisons are playing at a completely normal time today, 6:05 at Worcester. So that's coming up. Tomorrow morning at 6:30, Michael Antonius.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned him at this very time yesterday, playing today in the quarterfinals of the Junior French Open, and he won easily today. Decisive win to get to the semifinals. The guy he beat, everybody in this thing is older than he is, too. He's 16. It seems. The guy he beat today, 6-2, 6-1, won the Junior Australian Open. You might not even know they have these, but
no,
they do. They
I
have
didn't
these.
know. I saw you tweeting about him winning 6-1, 6-2, or 6-2, 6-1, whatever it was, and thought, how is that a French Open score?
Yes, because
I
it's
didn't,
juniors.
I didn't realize it was junior. So what's the story with this kid? Like,
Buffalo.
You know this
family friends.
young man? Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
His brother's in school locally. He's been in Florida at the USTA Academy for a few
All right.
years, Michael. But he is a top-level junior player. And no American, I apologize for this in advance, but no American man has won a slam since Andy Roddick.
That's been a minute then.
And I just kind of have this fantasy that this kid is going to do it. It's not the juniors don't count. I mean, he can't do it this week.
Right.
But he is elite.
All right.
So, and my buddy who's known him for longer gets annoyed because I can't get the paper to write anything. I'm like, it's 2026. I'll mention it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they won't.
As a 16-year-old, I know we got to get to break. How soon would someone in his position make the jump?
Very soon, depending on his results, like a year. I don't know.
Okay.
I should know an answer to that, and I don't, so I shouldn't even guess.
Oh, sorry, I asked.
It's going to happen, I think.
Yep.
This is WGR.
Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Carolina. Vegas does lead the series 1-0 with puck drop at 8 o'clock. You can listen to tonight's game right here on WGR with coverage beginning at 7:30. And some potentially big news in the NHL. Elliot Friedman, now among others, reporting that the Red Wings have center Dylan Larkin requesting a trade from Detroit after 11 seasons with the team. In the NFL, more extensions are coming down the line. Packers locking in wide receiver Christian Watson to a 4-year, $110.5 million deal. That extension does include $31 million as a signing bonus. Free agent corner L'Jarius Sneed visiting the Chiefs today. He was part of Kansas City from 2020 until 2023. And Lions rookie wide receiver Kendrick Law was confirmed to have torn his ACL at practice earlier this week. In baseball, Bison's on the road versus Worcester. First pitch tonight, coming up in just the next few minutes. You can listen to that game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. While in the majors, Yankees took down Cleveland 2-1 earlier today, and coming up at 7:15, the Jays. They are at Atlanta to take on the Braves. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I don't think Michael's ever done drugs.
It's Mike Schopp.
I don't know if anyone's ever offered him any.
Let's go over some of the symptoms of marijuana use, shall we? You tell me who this sounds like.
It's the Bulldog.
Slow moving, inattentive, dull, constantly snacking, shows a lack of motivation.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Thanks for joining us today. 80 and sunny. A lot of that coming up.
Pretty good.
Next week, into the 80s several times.
Yeah.
Time to get the pool going.
Mm-hmm. How's that going?
Not going yet.
Okay.
No, it's
Time
going to be going.
Time to get it going.
It's time to get it going.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Sunscreen. Yankees. I talked about the Yankee radio broadcast, listening to some of that coming in and how they have a sponsor for almost literally everything. We watched, you were in the room. I was watching the first part of their game with Cleveland today with the sound up. And Michael Kay, who I don't mind. I have a lot of issues with announcers. I'm not anti-Michael Kay.
I mostly like him.
Yeah, I mostly like him too.
He does this weird thing where I think he tries to be funny or playful with their reporter that I think lands awkwardly almost every time.
Meredith Marakovitz?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Like the other night I was watching, maybe it was even last night.
I saw this too. Last night?
Yeah, I don't know if it was last night or the night because I watched them a couple times recently, but like how he's going to bed and she's going out or something, and I don't know, the whole thing just doesn't
land well for you.
It just always feels a little like, I don't know. I imagine her just cringing, but
okay.
I don't have to be right about that. She may adore him. I don't know.
But what I was going to say about today, now I remember Michael Kay once saying, and maybe this has changed, this is years ago, that he'd never had soup or eggs. And there was a third thing, maybe milk.
Okay.
He'd never eaten soup in his life or eggs, which, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wonder how that happened or didn't happen, but he's never had eggs. But today he was saying how they had maybe a skin doctor in the booth.
Okay.
They were promoting, getting screened or whatever.
Sunscreen awareness.
Something.
Skin cancer awareness, something. Yeah.
Yes. And he pointed out that his wife puts on sunscreen when she's driving or before she gets in a car because she apparently thinks that she's at risk of getting a sunburn driving. And the doctor said something, well, that's actually possible. Like he treated it like it was a reasonable thing to do. I guess you could probably justify it for any situation at all.
I suppose.
But
that's right, yeah.
I just sort of, when I was listening to that, I remembered how he said he'd never had eggs. And somehow it lined up for me that his wife puts on sunscreen when she gets in the car I don't know. Like, I don't mean this as a bad thing. It's just funny.
Right. Okay.
Maybe he has had eggs since then.
Yeah. I did not know this about him, that he had that. Like, Al
Soup.
Michaels has the, like, no vegetables thing,
Right.
Right?
Which he tells you is serious. Like, he's not fooling around when he's not like he sort of has vegetables. Like,
No, he just does not eat vegetables. Right.
And he's 80.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well.
I guess maybe there's a case to be made. All right.
I'm sure he's done other things besides eating the foods that are purported to be good for you to extend his life, though. I'll bet he's...
Next time we talk to him.
Yeah, let's find out.
Would you be willing to tell us more about your diet?
Right.
We're very curious about it.
Actually, it's a 22-ounce ribeye every night.
That's kind of how it sounds.
Like, really?
It's probably not, but that's kind of how it's... Drew McGarry interviewed him a few years ago, and that's covered.
Yeah, right.
What he eats is covered. Yeah, that's how it sounds to me. Maybe mix in some tuna.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to be spinach. All right, here's Tim with us. Hello.
Hey, getting back to the Vegas situation where they fired the coach, not maybe 5 years ago, Montreal in the month of December fired their coach, and they had a winning record.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, okay. December is a lot different than the first week of April. There's still more than half a season left, but yeah, no, it's not like we covered it. Like, it's not an uncommon thing in hockey, even that late. I mean, the Islanders did it, a little bit before Vegas did it, even this year. And you've got hockey history littered with second half of the season and later firings. It's not like football. It's not the structure. I mean, I know teams are playing systems, but I think a lot of coaches will tell you there's a decent amount of overlap in systems. There's zone defense versus man-on-man defense and that kind of thing. But a lot of the tactics that are deployed, like a lot of teams do a lot of the same things. They don't just do them all the time. But, they all know what the same, all the different things you can do are. So it's not like your systems get blown up if the coach changes. It's more just a different voice in the room is what you're looking for. You think you've got a team that needs a jolt. And, we talked about this earlier. Vegas, there were reports that the team had completely checked out on Cassidy. And I don't know how dangerous, how much in danger they were of really missing the playoffs. But they didn't lose a game in the regular season once Tortorella took over.
In regulation.
Thank you again.
7-0-1.
7-0-1.
The Islanders' change was later.
Really? It was?
Patrick Waugh coached 78 games.
Oh, my God.
And Peter DeBoer got 4.
I didn't realize that. I had that backwards all day.
They went 1-3 in those 4 games. And they had a winning record. And if you add losses with losses, like I like to do, the Golden Knights did not. Under Cassidy. They were, if you put the losses together, like we put the wins together without thinking about it, 32-42. Think about that. 32, 26, and 16. Plus an additional 7-0-1 after their coaching change. So that's in the end 39-43. They had a losing season, Vegas. And now they're leading in the finals.
Right.
39 wins, 43 losses. Gross. Commissioner's exemption. If you have a losing record, you are banned. You are not allowed in the playoffs. We will get someone else. We will just somebody gets a bye.
We'll play with fewer teams,
right?
If we have to.
Right. If we have to, we will not even have that series. You do not get to be in the playoffs if you had a losing season. New rule. What else do you like? Let's keep going. What other new rules do you want to?
Well, what if everybody has a losing season?
Yeah. I'm not sure that's mathematically possible, but if it were to happen, no playoffs.
That's it. We're shutting it down.
Then we don't have to worry about whether it's the final or the finals. We'll just not have it.
Right.
I wonder what Travis, if he's still bothering with Gary Bettman and the playoff format. There was another round of this. Bettman. Before the finals, probably the other day.
Well, he spoke like state of the league kind of thing, and they announced a few things, and yeah,
he said something about how this format, which it seems almost inevitably gives you two top teams playing each other in the first round and then two other teams that barely deserve to be in playing each other in the first round. It's just not fair. And his latest defense of it was that you get more 6 or 7 game series this way, which I don't know if I understand the logic of that, but well, it forces teams, doesn't always have to, but it forces teams right next to each other in the standings, like Montreal and Tampa, they each had 106 points, to play each other, which logically would mean a long series because the teams, if you had 1 versus 6, I guess this is the point. If you had 1 versus 16,
right,
like they had in the 70s, then one team might be 40 points, not anymore, 20 points, 25 points better than the other one, and that's a sweep, and this is more TV shows.
Yeah, instead, we get sweeps in the second and third round.
Yeah, it turns out this year.
Because the good teams have gone out playing the other good teams, and bad teams have gotten the road paid for them to get to the third round, which is...
That was Philadelphia.
It's ridiculous.
And Anaheim, right?
It does. The one thing that's irrefutable is that if you want to see two of the best teams play, you're going to get it in the first round. You're at least going to get it, right? You're not going to get an upset that precludes it from happening. So if you really want to see Dallas and Minnesota, well, guess what? That's been locked in. That was locked in like at Thanksgiving this year. That those two teams, Colorado was such a runaway train. That doesn't always happen, but it did happen, and there was enough of a gap between 2 and 3 and the rest that it was never really even a question. And if you have a different seeding method, maybe Minnesota and Dallas should be on a collision course for the second or third round, but one of them gets knocked off, so you never get it. But I don't know, man. I think the playoffs have gotten less interesting as they've gone on this year because I think the caliber of the matchups, the teams that are left aren't as good as they could be. I think that's not spoiled. I mean, Montreal deserved to beat Buffalo. Fine, it's not that. But that matchup between at least it was a second round series. The first round series between Tampa and Montreal was two of the best teams in the league playing in the first round. I'd say the same thing about Dallas, Minnesota, and that just should not ever happen. And it happens every year in the NHL. I mean, it just happens every year. It's baked in.
Except you really this year would have needed to go league wide with the matchups.
The 1 through 8 wouldn't have been different enough.
Right? If you didn't care about how many teams per division, but you did care about East versus West, Carolina, Philadelphia is the first round, 1 versus 8. Philadelphia had 98 points. That's pretty good for an 8.
Yeah.
Then you had Pittsburgh with 98. It would have been Sabres, Penguins, 2 versus 7. Again, eliminating the factor of what division a team is from, but staying with East versus West. Then 3-6 is Tampa, Ottawa, and 4-5 is Montreal, Boston. West would be Avalanche, Kings. That's what it was. Avalanche, Kings.
Yep.
31-point gap. Vegas, or rather, LA, 22 regulation wins out of 82 games. 60 of their 82 games either went to overtime or they lost in regulation. LA.
Yeah.
Playoff team. But if you went, all out here and go back to which is not happening, but if you went back to the 70s format, 1 versus 16, no, it's still Colorado versus LA. Well, no, it wouldn't be LA. They wouldn't have been in because Washington had more points, Columbus had more points, Detroit had more points, the Islanders had more points than the Kings. We did this late in the season when at one point out of 16, the top 16 points teams in the NHL, 4 were from the West. Avalanche, Stars, Wild, and maybe Vegas.
Yeah, and I think there were 5. Did you just list off 5? I think there were 5 Eastern teams that would have made it ahead of LA.
Yeah, and almost Anaheim or Edmonton or Utah.
Yeah.
Frank, the story is Utah. You go to Utah. You stay in Utah. You hear me?
You only got 1 round of that.
I know. Well, it hurt me in the pool, too. I guess I was just dreaming when I put Utah players into my pool bracket.
Me too. I
wanted to talk about it.
I was on them too. They in Colorado were my picks in the West. I believe Travis was really bullish on Utah.
Yeah.
He
Vegas beat him.
Often during the year, he would tweet about them and the Sabres, like they're the same sort of recipe, or to an extent. Like
yeah, that's right.
They're real and they're going to be heard from. So I was backing Utah.
Me too.
Based on that,
they went 6 with Vegas.
Yeah.
3 points apart in the standings is all. Utah and Vegas. But no one will remember that or care at all.
No.
Because one of those teams is in the finals and might win it all, despite having a losing record this year. Just to say it one more time. Did you see that Jared Verse showed up in Cleveland and he was wearing number 8, his number, and the Browns have a number 8? Gabriel, the quarterback?
I did. I did. Careful here. There was a clip that made the rounds yesterday that I don't think was real.
Oh, yeah? Did this not happen?
I asked Owen about it, and he went looking and came away with this is fake.
Oh, I've been had, possibly.
Is this a tweet
not even that
where
interesting.
Dylan Gabriel is talking about how I thought maybe there'd be a negotiation, but he just showed up and had my number on?
Pro Football Talk says it happened.
Okay.
He showed up for practice wearing 8.
Oh, no, I know that Verse showed up wearing 8.
Oh.
I know that.
That's what I meant.
Okay. You didn't know anything about Dylan Gabriel? There was a tweet that made the rounds that I think was AI of Gabriel talking about how he thought he was going to get paid for the number, but he showed up, just like Verse did, and Verse had his number, and that was it.
I'm seeing that.
And I asked Owen to check, is that a real thing? Did that really happen, or is that fake? And his verdict was fake.
Really?
Not that Verse wasn't wearing 8. I saw pictures of him and video of him wearing 8.
Yes.
But that Gabriel said, I thought I was going to get a watch or a car or something, and instead they just took my number. So I didn't go deep diving on it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But my sources close to me thought that it was not to be trusted.
Okay.
Gabriel actually said that.
Wow.
But I if you know different.
I don't know different, but I do see the tweet and a picture of Gabriel and Verse wearing the jersey and all of this. Well, whether the quarterback had anything to say about it or not, it's an interesting move.
Yeah, it is.
To show up wearing a number that someone else on the team already has.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If again, it all went down
discussed.
Right. Yeah.
But somebody has to give you your uniform.
Right, the team decides what number. Well, in this case, maybe they ask what number you want. I want 8, and I don't know if they didn't say. Actually, our 5th string quarterback wears number 8 or whatever, wherever he stands on the depth chart now. But
he'd be 3rd.
He's behind Sanders and Watson, presumably.
So it seems.
So I guess we'll just strip him of his number.
Man, Cleveland. We were talking about them a couple days ago.
Yeah, we had Darryl Ryder on.
Does Watson play week 1? Maybe. Don't they kind of probably want to start there? All the money he makes, if he's healthy, I guess you just sort of do that again and see what you get.
Right.
And then Sanders, who, of course, played some as a rookie. So did Gabriel. If you're 2-6 or something, there's just no point in continuing with Watson. It's hard to believe this is still the stuff with the Browns. But neither do the 2 young quarterbacks really rate. Do they have to play? Are you really still auditioning them? You don't have another idea, but what would be the point of all of it? If you wanted to tank, you might just never play them and just play Watson if it's going badly, and it probably will go badly. I don't know. I don't know how to make sense. You have a new coach.
You could be motivated to get Sanders, especially on the field. It depends how motivated you are to just lose games. And maybe Sanders playing instead of Watson doesn't really impact that at all in the end. But I could see you being motivated as an organization to give Sanders an opportunity to build on what he did last year and maybe establish that he's got some value within the league, right? If he has 4, 5, 6 good games, December to the end, maybe he's got some value. If you want to draft somebody 101 or 105 or wherever you end up in the draft, great. Maybe you can spin Shedeur Sanders into, a day 2 pick or day 3 pick or something, a 4th or a 5th, something useful.
Yeah, I wish him luck, right? I mean, that nobody wanted to draft him when he was coming into the league as a day 2 player. Just, I don't know what the right course of action is there. Just get the season over with.
Right.
Never know. We didn't get into the Browns with Aaron Schatz. We left it to mostly the good teams. We did talk to Aaron earlier. We'll have that conversation for you after this break on WGR.